G'day, citizens. Welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by Algared. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, fairly well, fairly well.
We just had some
Can't complain too
teething,
much.
issues. Just that was a bit amusing. Discord seems to love to reset our sound, and yeah. So we're sitting there and we couldn't hear each other. It was very strange. Like we cut off all the time. It was rather weird. So we were early, and then Discord decided to screw us. And so
Discord made us late. It's all Discord's fault.
Spent about 15 minutes trying to get the fix. We had to restart our PCs, a whole bunch of stuff, but we got it. So that's all fixed. But yeah, so I got to see your ugly bug in person last week. It's more hideous than I imagined. No, no.
It was scary seeing the the Master of Doom, the Executor himself.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good catch up. I had to leave the T-shirt with you, but
you
got that.
Well, I had to leave it with one of the SCA guys, and but that got taken care of. I have to admit, having gone through the VIP section that they had set aside for talking about the Entry Atmo esports event in Sydney last weekend, which is where we were, and the VIP area was very small considering the number of tickets they sold.
I think there was a myriad of issues that no one's talked about. I think a lot of that will come to light given time. And I think a lot of people, I don't know, maybe some people just don't care to talk about it, but I'm not probably going to go too deep into it. I think I think a lot of those things eventually, it becomes a pattern of recognition.
Oh, look, if they had an area of that top section fenced off for for other people, had that been opened up, I think there would have been plenty of room for the number of people that saw. Teething issues in terms of doing a large event at that venue for 4-star Citizen. I think that was the first one that they tried. So certainly in that scale. I certainly in the bar had scored because I just went into one of the booths and it was probably
you scored
better
an awesome
than
booth.
a VIP section.
So to let people know, Algared just stumbled into a booth and sat there. It turned out it was the VIP booth at the bar, and the booth next door was the one for the meet and greet. So we had a VIP booth at the bar, and I'll freely admit, I think it was actually better than the VIP area. All said and done. And I in fact spent most of the day there with you in that booth.
Yep, he did. He abandoned the VIP area and came downstairs because it was much more salubrious.
Well, there was nowhere to sit in the VIP area. It was pretty bad. So things like that. But the best part of the event was, as always, at any of these events, was the people, and it was really cool to catch up with people. People I'd never met too. Like I got to meet Galahero. I've been kind of friends with Gal for many years now. But to actually catch up with in person was awesome. There's a few other people that I saw, but I didn't know who they were at the time. Like I ran into Farasalt. You were talking to Farasalt too.
Yeah. I ran into Farasalt as well, and didn't actually. He'd changed a lot since the days when I was speaking to him more regularly.
Yeah.
So gone with the Hawaiian shirt, gone with the red locks. It was I obviously need to go check out his channel again.
ran into Just a Riot as well. Who gave me this. I got it here actually. Gave me this Tarzo thing. I won't show the other side of it because Algared knows what it says. But Algared got one as well, and a few things like that. But yeah, it was just really cool catching up with everyone.
Yep.
And it's always a little awkward for me and you because people walk up to us and they don't introduce themselves. I think we've entered a period of time where people have forgot how to introduce themselves to other people because they're so used to the internet. I don't know but I was like, and your online name is. I have to ask
and you
them.
are?
Yeah, because like they just expect us to know them, and it's like, I got no clue who you are. And then they say their name, their online name is like, oh my god, or you slowly start to recall because like. Yeah, it's just a little strange being on the other end of it. But
the weirdest experience for me was the time I was walking through fortress with Sandy.
Hmm.
And the number of people said, "Oh, hi Al," I go,
Yeah.
but didn't say hi to Sandy. I don't know whether they were, oh, wow, that's Sandy, and just had that mental block, or whether it was they didn't know who Sandy was. But that was weird for me.
I think after being at CitizenCon and seeing her stand outside CRG and no one knew who she was, I think it's definitely people don't know, because she hasn't really been on camera for the last half decade. So
that was probably the first time she's been on camera for ages. So yeah.
All right, I got the bot up, by the way. So the bot is alive and kicking.
The bot is ready to take your questions. If you've got questions, put them in. Just use the word question anywhere in your question, and it will show up in our bot, and we'll take your questions in order.
Thank you.
They come in.
Thank you, Thorn, for the subscription on Twitch. Appreciate it. 4 months.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
And also, first-time chatter on Twitch, Fiberlimpa. Or Fiberlimpa.
Yeah, 07.
Welcome.
I think we've got a couple of things to go through. There isn't like a heap of kind of news. I guess I could summarize it all up, right? So I did have these noticeable changes, right? These were two kind of interesting ones because they've kind of officially announced crafting and inventory rework are coming for 4.7.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool to see.
Bring on the inventory work. Bring on the inventory work.
Yeah, but I can also summarize kind of what's happened while we were gone or what we've missed. So we had in the video that dropped when I was on the plane up to you last week, they announced that there is a refinery ship coming and a refueler ship coming this year, which I did you and I kind of saw that coming. You know, the refueler is the only gameplay they haven't left a touch off the Starfarer, and refining is desperately needed. It just you cannot connect the two dots of materials to turn it into crafting materials without refining. Like it's absolutely needed. It's a missing link.
And yeah, you could get by very briefly using just the station refinery, but that takes away that player loop, and that's what they really want. Yeah. So yeah.
And the other one that came out, now I've already forgotten exactly what the words that were said, so I'm going to struggle here, but chat will remind me. In the audio Q&A thing that was done yesterday on ISC, they mentioned that the Origin ship is coming in the next amount of time, and I forgot what the time was. That's the part that I mentioned. So there's also been an Origin ship mentioned. Can you remind me, just because I've forgotten? 3 months, in the next 3 months. Thank you very much, Exor. But I knew someone in chat would know it, because there's always someone that's an Origin fanboy. So yeah, there's another Origin ship coming, which I think is kind of interesting. My brain instantly went to 200, 500, 700i. That's kind of where my brain went. I don't know if you kind of are in the same vein there, Algared, but that's kind of where I was at.
I could certainly see filling in those number gaps for the 200, 300, 700i. I could also see them bring in, given that we know that they're a refueler ship, given that we know that they're a refinery ship, I could possibly see them going into that line, although to me that seems outside of that quadrant of where Origin fit. It'd be nice if...
What about a crafter that's by Origin?
It possibly could be a high-end craft, high-end crafter could be. We could tie in later on with a shop ship.
Yeah, that was kind of where my brain went. Like, do you need, because we know tech levels is a thing, do you need a certain tech level to be able to make a certain level of thing? Because all of a sudden that makes more vary in ships straight off the bat. Which could be interesting. But I don't think we're ready for shop ships yet.
No.
I thought that, and now we're not concepting anymore. Unless there's just something they're holding there and there's a whole bunch of stuff about to come with shops and the building, which I think we would have heard of by now. I don't know if you think different, but
But I could see needing crafting and fabrication before we have shops. So that people can build and make and then sell, rather than just selling secondhand salvage goods.
Well,
so there's that end you'd want, but you'd also it's a bit like before you can do buildings, you want to have that refinery stuff. It's that type of
just real quick,
stepping stone for me.
Not to take us too much off this topic, but we thank you for the description with the Prime OP focus. Simon Dolick says we have the Forge from Sinu. Well, we know that it's been paused, so I don't know if it's restarted up. You are though right though, Simon, that we have to remember the Forge is around. And this is the one that I keep coming back to because it's the most logical sense. So this one's actually relevant to the topic as well. Is from this Mecha Rider on Twitch says, I think the G12 at Invictus, because that by doing the G12, it doesn't interfere with the other things that we know about Origin. And it kind of, we know it's been worked on and off on for a really long time. That's the most logical to me, unless it is another vehicle of some sort. You know, could it be the hover tank? Could it be something that, you know, they flirted with a hover tank idea? It might not be that, but do you know what I mean? Could it be something else that we're just not ready for? And that seems to be where I'm going, because I know they keep, but they said ship. They actually did say ship.
But you know full well they use ship and vehicle interchangeably at times. So, you know, are they saying it's a ship?
Yeah. Okay.
With quantum drive, or is it just a vehicle?
Yeah.
And
they did say though, it was an unannounced ship. That is true, and that was from Sergeant Perry. They did actually say that. So
and that takes the G12 and the 600i off the cards, because they're, you know, the 600i rework, that's a ship that's already out. The G12 been announced, so it can't be that.
I really
and if they brought out and if they bring out another vehicle instead of a G12, man, I that would be a bit of a that'd be a bit rude, I think. Like, the G12 is not exactly a great, large, multi-crew, massive vehicle. It's an Ursa.
Oh, I found it.
And a smaller Ursa at that.
All right, I need to open this so we can go back through this to remind people, because I can see the little arguments coming. So this is taken from, this is quite old now, but this is the only thing they ever showed us like this. This was taken from a style guide episode on the Sulian when it dropped. But what it does show is where manufacturers sit. And if you look at little old Origin there, it is almost smack bang in the middle between high design and commercial. Now, high design is essentially luxury. Commercial is shops.
And
we don't have.
When you look at where it is,
we don't have a single shop ship from Origin. Not one.
Like, you go across to the left, that's going more to a high design. But the further down you go, you're going into commercial. So it's actually close. You know, it's actually on the lower half of commercial. So it's high design commercial is more where it is, rather than high design exploration or transport. Or so it's an interesting conundrum for Origin. Same with Crusader. Crusader is even more commercial, and yet it's got,
well, you can see just those manufacturers there, like there's 5 right there, but there's still gaps in that lineup. Right? Where you can kind of see Origins at the top, Drake's at the bottom, as in tech level, and then Miska's high industrial, Argo is kind of medium industrial, and Drake could probably be low industrial as well, and then Crusader is probably the most middle of all of those. But there probably needs to be maybe 1 or 2 more. So now, we'll see.
It does interest me that Misk is seen as high design, but they're probably one of our heaviest industrial ships. So, you know, there's some things that seem a bit weird in terms of how they're sold or how they've been designed, but but yeah, that's all we've got in terms of where the manufacturers sit.
Yeah. And we know it's a thing
expected.
in multiple levels though too, don't we? Because one of the episodes they did shortly after this was that we remember they were doing the internals of buildings and they talked about shops, right? So this is connecting dots because obviously if you're going to do shops on a planet, that's going to be similar to shops in a ship, right? It's pretty simple, right? And they showed off like a high luxury restaurant, right? That's clearly something more Origin aesthetic or high brow. But if you were doing a shop, maybe they make a whole new brand that's not Origin, right? The Origin make the ship, but that's in partnership with, you know, Old Man Hurston Commercial Food Services or whatever you want to call it, right?
Hurston Fried Tavarin, yeah.
Yeah, or something like that. And then and they showed a high-end apartment, right? Where you'd kind of like to live in Hurston, and they showed kind of like a high-end restaurant where you'd like to eat in Hurston, and then they also showed the kind of inverse of that, and they showed like right down the bottom where all the scrubs live type of thing, where I'd eat like a taco type of restaurant, but they also had the, you know, the like a low end apartment, and then they had something in the middle too, didn't they? So they had the kind of like middle apartment as well. Now they didn't show a middle food services, but you can imagine that you're going to need something for all three tech levels, right? It's
and yet,
yeah,
older players will remember the different hangars. So you had the Referal in York, really fancy upmarket hangar, down to the Selfland hangar.
Yeah.
And so you had the four different types of hangars and also you had what we call the asteroid or the industrial hangar. So you had industrial, high market, middle of the road, cheap, Selfland. So you had Selfland. I can't remember what the middle of the kind of MISC version was. The kind of blue.
Oh, Aeroview.
So you had Selfland, Aeroview, Revel in York, and the industrial, which was the asteroid hangar.
Yeah, so you're essentially stating that these tech levels have been in the game since almost near the very beginning, and I don't think you're wrong on that at all. I totally agree with you. It's just recognizing to spot them repetitive nature, and it's also we're already seeing it in the game a little bit already. Like you can kind of see the difference between Stanton, Pyro, and Nyx. You know, Nyx is somewhere in between where it's kind of maintained, right? And then obviously Pyro is just completely let go. And then and Stanton has obviously got all the resources and looked after, you know. So not just tech levels, but almost like how well they're funded. I don't know how else to put that. You know what I mean? Because we know cleanliness is a thing. They've talked about if you let something go, it'll, like all the dirt can gather up and stuff like that, and they have to be maintained and looked after. So that's another thing as well.
I think it's the type of thing that you'd find in Life is Feudal was a game that I was playing for a while, and you could mine and you could dig through the earth and build your tunnels and all the rest of it. And as you got to a certain point, you had to make sure that your tunnels were supported by timbers. If you didn't maintain your timbers or replace your timbers, it all caved in. So you had to run your maintenance. So that limited how big a single person could kind of build their mines, because it was just otherwise just spending all the time just replacing timbers. And I think it's the same type of thing you'll find with building bases and other things. The size of maintenance and the requirements for maintenance are going to limit how much one person can do. But that maintenance aspect, something we're seeing games already, and I can see it's already going to be something that works as well. Ackland, thank you for those 20 Inforunners gift memberships.
Crazy, awesome, man. We've never had somebody do something like that before. That's crazy. Thank you.
Not 20, no.
God. Kragan, man, I'm probably not going to read them all. There's too many. Wait. E1 for Lone Steel, Hellstorm, Jafar, Parker, Mokov, Kardov, Golem, Tony, Joel, Discorel, Grim, King, Vance, Dex, Sergeant, Major, Vape, The Foo, Devin, Jackson, blah, blah, blah. There's Kragan. There's too many names. Make sure everyone say thanks to him for that. Oh, wow, that's very, very generous.
If you're on YouTube, check the stream, see if you got one of those gifts, and thank Ackland.
He doesn't even have a membership himself. I feel bad now.
I know. What?
He just gave
What a legend. What a legend. That's all I can say to that.
Thank you very much for that, Auckland. Right.
Happy.
It really thrown me there. But yeah, obviously different tech levels there for Origin. So I just don't know if we're quite ready for that yet, though, Algared. Yeah. The only other thing is I can think of is outliers, right? So something like a combat ship in line with, like, say, the 125 or 325. Or could it be some obscure thing like science or big game hunting or bounty hunting or something like that? That's the only thing else I can think of. Or hacking, something that is new, that is like right on the fringe of what Origin does. That's the only other thing. But again, there's nothing there that kind of shows that in this grid. But you have to assume Origin probably goes a couple other places because they're almost the opposite of Drake in a way. You know what I mean? So they've got to do a little bit more broad.
Now, I did see someone saying in chat that Origin, there are no shop ships. Origin doesn't have shop ships. I'm going to argue that there is actually an Origin shop ship already, and it's the 890 jump.
Yeah.
It has the bar. It has a restaurant.
And in its original concept, there was a mall variant that you and I believe has become the Banner Merchantman. And we can go through that all again, but I don't really want to go into detail too much because that takes us a bit off topic.
To pick up that idea of commercial, like I think other aspects of commercial are big game hunting, farming, restaurants, bars. It's not just your normal shop front selling clothes or weapons or ammo. It's a whole slaver of things. So yeah, commercial could be wider. It could even just be, tourism, repair and offering those repair opportunities and even refuel. I suppose that,
There's a really good question there. Do you see the one by LG Hailstorm? I'm going to cut it at the front of the list because that's actually worth thinking. It made me think of something. Yep. So he said, do you think the refueler they teased 2 weeks ago is going to be Origin? That's not something I would ever think of, but I would say no, just because my brain went, well, technically refueling is industrial. Now, I don't see Origin doing, can you do high-end industrial? Have we seen a high-end industrial of any shape or form you can think of? And the closest one I can get to when I think high design is MISC, and it seems like the Odyssey and stuff like that. So they're high-tech industrial. Origin doesn't do high-tech industrial.
Yeah.
It's too dirty for them,
I could see a refueler being commercial.
Yeah.
If it was just doing refuel. I'm not sure I'd see Origin doing that. But we do have MISC in that commercial line. But so, yeah, would I see Origin doing that?
I don't know. That's a real
anything's possible. It just doesn't seem to fit with that.
Yeah, I don't.
With that matrix.
The other thing we've seen too, right? Because let's flirt with this idea a little bit as well. Drake was real bottom of the barrel, and it's clear that they're not the bottom of the barrel anymore. That's been taken by Gray's Market. As the game's kind of expanded, with the Prospector did underground mining and surface mining, and they now know that feature's been taken away from the Prospector, but underground extraction is still a thing, right? So what I'm trying to propose here is things do change over time, and they usually get expanded out, right? Not removed from the game, but expanded, right? So the thing I want to flirt with is, let's look at Kruger, right? Kruger is also now high design, but it's clearly going up that way. It's almost up near where Mirai is, right? On this chart. So my thought is there another manufacturer that could come along that does higher design that leads into what people are proposing?
Well, and the other thing that's not shown on this is like high design versus quality of components.
Yeah.
So you see, Drake is very much in the commercial and industrial aspect. So, yeah, for years and years, they were, they're not heavily armored. Their armor is like, punching your way through a paper bag. It was always considered to be very low compared to other ships in its class.
Just for Bowler's reference, he said, did we get confirmation that it is a ship? According to chat, it was a confirmation that was an unannounced ship. So even if you say it's not a ship and it's a vehicle, it's still unannounced, which means it's completely new.
And it means it's not a G12.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. And again, someone sent me the clip. Who was it that sent it to me? I know they sent it to me. It was Darth Zippo, who it was. Which is one of Bop's boys sent it to me. I've got to find him now because I'm in streamer mode and I can't see diddly shit. Here we go. Right, let's open this. So this is the clip on Twitch. I'll let this play.
We've been here 8 months.
Oh, sorry.
8 months. Okay, so you guys have never worked on an origin ship. We haven't had an origin ship since what, 2021?
Long time.
That was that the 400 or the 400i? 2021. We do have a new origin ship this year though. So you guys will get to, you have a new origin ship in the next 3 months. So,
yeah. And so obviously they went along later and talked about it being an unannounced ship. But yeah, I don't know about you, Algared, but my brain goes to the same thing I go to all the time now. What are the gameplays they are working on? And I can't, someone said it in chat as well, a Taurus, Art, that's Art. That's Grimsman. Hey Art, how you doing, man? He said data running, and he is right. Data running is in the files. And I could definitely see Origin doing something akin to hacking, a high-end hacking. If I had to pick between, Kruger could do that. No, because they're more tech-based, where Kruger are more old school, aren't they? They're more old school, where Origin is tech, where Kruger is more like the older 1940s Jaguar with the dead bear skin rug type of luxury. So yeah, I would say it would be Origin over Kruger, just based on the tech and the computers. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. What else is there out there? Base building, crafting, exploring's kind of already been covered in their ships with the 600i, the 400i, the scanning. Is there any other gameplays you can say? Bounty hunting, I did mention that. But I also lean into knowing that they're doing a lot of variant stuff at the moment too. So my brain kind of goes to say, you know where I think they're going, right? And I'm not going to call it, but this is where I kind of think it's going. I think it's a 200 series. Because it allows it to do more things. Planning. All right, here you go. Sit there for a bit. But yeah, I think like 500 is bigger than the 400 series, right? So what would say Connie sized?
That'd probably be Connie size, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's probably too big. We're talking on a Hermes level ship here, right? Like around that size. So the only one left is the 200 in my book. 700 is too big, right? That's got to be a shop ship, yeah. That's gonna be like a flying shopping mall type of thing.
I would have to watch that clip again, but Hook 2005 said new, not unannounced.
Yeah, someone said that they said later, unannounced. Can anyone get us a clip of where they say unannounced? Just to put that to bed, because I don't want people. If anyone's got it, I'll happily play it. But I'm going on what people said earlier. So
if it's just a new ship, not unannounced, then I could see a 400i variant, which would tie in with what we're seeing a lot of now.
That's true. That's a really good point. You and I did talk about that. Yeah, a variant of the 400i.
And
that's a really good point.
I could even see, a 400i medical. That would tie very much into what I've always thought Origin would be ideal for a medical ship. It would tie in with you know, I could see a 400i data runner. I could see a 400i.
And all they have to do is do what they did the Apollo and the Hermes, boys and girls. To us, it's clearly an Apollo variant, but in name, completely different ship.
Completely different ship.
Algared could be completely on the money there, where it really is just a variant of the 400i. Ooh, yeah, I think Algared might be on a winner there, boys and girls. With their nascent trends, right? That is what they're doing, isn't it, Algared? They've been doing a lot of variants and calling them.
I hope if they do variants, it's not a totally new ship, because the I in all the Origin ships is
covered me
stands
for left.
Yeah, she's molting. But remember that I on the numbering of the Origin ships, 200, 100, 300, 400. That I is variants.
Yeah,
this is the base model, and then we've got the 325. So yeah.
Well, see, Cody, straight off the bat, I would counteract what Cody said there. So Cody said e-warfare or stealth. That would be Kruger, my friend, now. I think Kruger's clearly taken the military side of high end. And so things like the 125 and the 325 always seemed like outliers to me in Algared, didn't they? They seemed, and I now strongly believe they've kind of really been split off and given to Kruger. That seems to be a bit more where I think they're going. But you correct me if you think I'm wrong.
Well, a 425, a heavy fighter. Because, if you think about the 400 in terms of what it does or what it feels like is probably the closest to Armadella's, cruiser.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that Kruger come out with an equivalent ship that does that. But, Origin could easily do a variant that was kind of heavy fighter or even luxury transport in that line. So I could see that.
That ship does not have the biggest amount of room to play with. You've essentially got the cargo bay area, and you've got the special storage area. That's basically the two areas you've got to modify. So even then, you don't really have a lot. Oh, well, I guess you could remove the vehicle thing, and that could become a car. So if you lowered your cargo area down to just being the lift of the bike, you'd then essentially have one room to play with that's square, just the cargo area, and that would turn into data. I can see the data runner. I can see some of the other ones, like the military one. I can see I can see that too.
Yeah.
But I just
because it is such a narrow ship, it does.
Well, look at this. Like if I go back to this, right, it counteracts what they've said here, because that would not be, that point would not be there if it's going to go into too many more ships. That point would be dragged towards the middle. It would be almost like attack, right? Or it would start to go towards the military, right? So it would be, it wouldn't be all the way, like it's literally almost on the outside of the circle type of thing. That's a bit strange, right? So it implies that those two ships are outliers. That's what I'm trying to get to, right? So I would, if you and I put Kruger there, you would agree, probably, tell me if you disagree with this, right?
I think Kruger would be on the same bar as...
It'd be up near Mirai or in the middle there, somewhere between Mirai and Tumbra or something like that, right? So a ship like a combat-based 400i is a lot more in Kruger's warehouse than it is these guys.
Yeah.
And ever since the 325 came out, they never have done a combat variant, right? I think the only reason we got the 125A was because the 325A was a thing, and they knew they could make one and sell it.
Yep.
And they were starter ships, right?
Yeah, and the 400i as a heavy fighter, that yeah. But you could, just by looking at what they've had Origin do in the past, you got the Explorer.
Yeah.
So you've got the Racer, the 350, you've got the Fighter, the 325, you've got the Explorer, the
look at Daft Digit coming in here late and going, Drake would be perfect for that gameplay. We're trying to figure out what the origin ship could be, Drake. Daft, you are dragging us off topic, sir. Stop it. But yeah, like I have to look at the current gameplay, right? As in things that they're working on, and that just seems to be the thought pattern. They're going, you know, I even start to think weirdly off the cuff things like, could we see a refinery from Origin? I don't see it personally. We've never seen Simon, that is brilliant, sir. That is brilliant. I think he might. Ooh, chef's kiss, sir. Good thinking, Simon. He said the generalist.
Well, look, I think anything's possible, although my gut says that's not what Origin have done in the past with their, 125 to...
But it would work for Origin. Being an Origin generalist, and I, as soon as I heard that they were doing another generalist ship like the Clipper, my brain went, well, what are the general manufacturers, right? And Origin was one of the ones that were in my list. And I naturally went, well, what is the progression of what we've got? Well, we've got the auxiliary at the bottom, which is a vehicle that's a generalist. You got the Clipper that's a solo variant. What would be the next step above that? Well, I was like, well, it'd have to be, because if you look at the Clipper, it's technically a medium ship that only works for one person. Well, what's the other ship that's like that, that's the next size up? That is the 400i.
Yep.
Because it's three people, that it's a large ship that's really got the features of a medium. So believe it or not, the 400i would be perfect for that. They don't have to recreate the wheel. All you do is put a medical bed and a fabricator in where the cargo bay is currently, and it's still got three people. Yeah. I think you might have nailed it, Simon. That sounds very simple and logical and straightforward to me. Yeah, and they did say one was coming. Sorry, go ahead.
Monta Avery says at 54:57, he says they're working on an unannounced Origin ship. So
54:57.
Yep.
Can you send? I don't have the full thing. I've only got the clip. So I can't bring that up. Can someone send me a link to the 54:57, please?
That is from Monta Avery.
Show. But this is from Blundy. I don't know if this is the right one. I might have opened it.
Pardon me.
All right, let's have it.
You're working on an unannounced Origin.
Oh.
What are you working on? Not the name, just you give us the brand. What are you working on, Josh?
A Drake ship.
A Drake ship?
Oh.
All right, I know what that is.
Yeah.
It is? Or like this?
Sizable.
Okay.
Oh, he's working on the Ironclad.
Working on Aegis.
You're working on an Aegis.
Yeah. Very fun.
Oh, right.
I'm having a lot of fun with this one, particularly this one.
It's a shark with a freaking laser beam on it.
Nice.
Sounded like a smaller Idris. I think that's it, yeah?
We got time for a couple more questions.
All right. So that's it. All right. But yeah, he definitely said unannounced. I think we can confirm that now, so we can kind of remove that from, the speculation pool for people. And that's why I wanted it, just so everyone's on the same page. Yeah, it could be Javelin. It could be anything. But yeah. The Ironclad we said sizable. It's the only one we know about, and the Ironclad's not that far away. I think it makes sense that they'll be adding sound effects to a ship like that before it comes out. It's kind of a no-brainer.
Given now, the WAS says, given, and I'm going to put words into his mouth, given they said a refueler is coming, he says Aegis refueler confirmed. Vulcan.
Again, I wouldn't rule anything out. It makes sense.
Yep.
I really can't
unsee
the Golem though. After the things you and I talked about,
the only thing that I would argue against it being the 400, not the 400 either, the Vulcan, is the fact that Vulcan is basically 4 drones with 2 remote stations.
I think what is implying, Algared, is it allowed them to make the Vulcan and make it a variant of that would be the refueler, bringing that out first. So when they went back to do drones, they just make another variant. And that could be something to do, absolutely could see that. But I'll wait and to see that drops, because that's a couple of dots to connect. But I could see it.
And well, when you consider that the Vulcan was refuel, rearm, repair, it's not beyond the pale.
Bowler, I don't think they actually scrapped the medical drones. I think they just went, we want to release the Apollo now, and we'll come back and do the drones later.
Especially since John Crew did say the space for the drone is still there if we want to bring it back at some point.
Yeah, I think it's just that they knew that they couldn't do the gameplay for them yet, because they need to do the drones for base building. It's just clearly base building has taken longer than they expected. When we were at CitizenCon, we literally had multiple people say base building's not as far away as you think. And then something's happened, and now it's blown out to like 2 years, as it always does with it. So yeah.
Yeah, and a simple fact that in the past they've said, you know, bases are no different from ships in terms of the room system. So, so I think they were expecting base building to come sooner and be the kind of be the start point for so many of the professions and refinery and all those types of loops. But something in the design or the tech has come along that's mucked it up a little bit.
Right.
So,
anyway, so yeah, I just get you guys to keep that in mind. The gameplay that they're working on, it just seems to be the real staple thing now. Like, we can kind of work out. Generally, Algared, we're having more trouble not locking down what the ship is, but locking down the manufacturer. It's almost a bit upside down world now, where we can tell what they're going to do because of the gameplay and functionality they're working on, but we can't work out that's the guesswork. Like what happened with the Moth and the Hermes. We had cargo very early on, and we were hoping it was data running too, but that's not to say that there's not another a data runner in the Hermes as well, but we'll see.
No, doesn't say that at all.
I would say at this point, wait and see, but I'm not going to hold my breath if the Hermes is a cargo ship and that's all we ever get. It'd be very sad if that is the case, but well, it just doesn't. It doesn't warrant a name change. You know what I mean? Like, it could have just been the Apollo CL. Why was it and again, the only consistency with CIG is how inconsistent they are. Because so giving it a whole nother name, the only thing I can think of, Algared, was to separate it from being a medical ship from the cargo ship, where realistically they could have just been, you know, like the Auroras. Yeah. Why are there 5 different variants of the Aurora? Why are there 5 different variants of the Constellation? And then all of a sudden, when it comes to the Apollo, they're like, oh, nah, I can't have that shit. 2 different names.
Yeah. Well, I could argue in terms of, you know, the age of the project, that the Mustang, the 300, the Aurora, the Constellation, they were all very early ships.
Yeah.
The 100i just followed the 300 series, so I could see that. But yeah. But yeah, look, I could see more variants of Hermes, and I could see that reasoning. No, let's keep the medical ships as distinct in that line, and let's branch off and have almost a different chassis, which we use as our variants. But then, why enlarge the Apollo just to be able to create the Hermes? That's the one that, in that sense, makes it a bit weird for me. But
yeah, I don't know. Still got a long thing to come, but it's just how vague things still all are. Like, they can really go where they want to go still, and we will disagree with some of what they do. Like NG Hellstorm says, I still think they should have called it the Soul. So he's obviously referring to the Moth. And I said at the time, I think it should have been called the Crab. You know, and
well, given 2 claws.
2 claws, and the name with the acronym.
No, the Molester. The Molester.
The Predator, the Ultimate Predator, the Fondler.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Fondler.
But yeah, look, again, it just shows they can go wherever they want with this. There is a little bit of vagueness, and they can, you know, they obviously are just people too. Like when the community came out with the name the Nurser, right? They'd never even thought of that. They completely had not thought of it, and it's the same
but
thing.
But that had become the default name for it. Everyone just.
I bet you in hindsight, after they've heard everyone, and I mean the community, talk about names, they're like, "Oh my god, why did we call it the Moth?" Like or do they not even give a shit? And I tend to lean to the do they not give a shit camp? Because the more time goes on, the more I'm seeing that they're carnivore, you know, eating their own law, and just not being consistent. That they care more about just getting the ships out there. I think is their focus. So yeah, they're not so worried about the names.
I think that's a fair cop. Monster Avery does raise a point in terms of the thing we were saying in terms of, you know, trying to separate that medical ships from the other variants, and he says, but the C8R and the Nurser both already kind of break that mold, because the C8R is just a variant of the C8, and the Nurser is just a variant of the Ursa vehicle. So so
I would
overall
say to keep medical ship names separate, but yeah, that's true. I don't know. You see, like, again, it's just showing that they've just gone every which way they can and been really inconsistent. And it's something that like I knew, but it was a really big slap in the face for you when we sat down and talked about the Ares series and Crusader lore and stuff like that. You had questions that you needed answers to, and
and look, I knew the answer was because it was the flavor of the month. You know, I knew that, but it really grinds my gears that they just went, "Oh, we'll go for flavor of the month," rather than what manufacturer best suits this design we want to do. And I'm pretty certain you'd find that, you know, Benoit would have been exactly the same. He's saying, why? Because the impression was, you know, like Ben and John said, "Oh, Benoit, yeah, Benoit's a great advocate for Kruger."
Look, I still think it's all fixable. I think they just do a massive retcon just before 1.0, and they change a few things. But again, by the same token, maybe they don't want that, because it does make it flawed like human law. Human law is just, it goes everywhere. If you looked at Earth as a law project and was able to stand back, we've broken our own. There are no groups, you know. So
you look at our Crusader. You know, Crusader had the law of being this great humanitarian company, but in today, if they were a company in today, they'd be a multinational company. And multinationals, they do what, you know, at the end of the day, they do the bottom.
Too big and ugly, too many people that move through the company. You know, some person gets fired that's in charge of something. The guy that was the writer is not there 10 years ago. Look at any franchise, like any video game that's been made by a second set of people, it completely changes. I'm just going to give you one example because it's right on my head. I've been rewatching Stargate, Algared. I've chewed through it in the last couple of weeks. I'm up to season 7. And I'm now looking at Atlantis and Universe, and them not knowing why SG-1 was so popular and why Atlantis and then Universe Arthur kind of took a while for Atlantis to fail, but then Universe dropped off very, very quickly. And it's really obvious to anyone in hindsight is that SG-1 was on Earth, and they had a lot of Earth-based episodes as well as, you know, it kind of goes into the past, it goes into the future. As soon as you move over to Atlantis, it's a completely different universe and separates that human element of it being on Earth. It's gone. You lose half the show.
Yep.
And then when you go off into Universe and it's an unknown universe, they went completely the other way. They went, instead of bringing it back to Earth, they went completely the other way. Let's make it even more alien, even more out there. Completely dropped off because they missed the whole messaging of what made SG so popular. They thought it was like, oh, make it mysterious and unknown, and no, that's not what it was. It was that you're able to have it on Earth. You're able to, you know, go back in time. Through history and sci-fi, and that's why it was it appealed to a lot of people because it appeal to all those different elements, and that's what they missed by taking it further and further away. Anyway, same thing you can carry on to almost any franchise where new creators have come in and they want to put their own spin on it. Like, think about all the new Star Wars stuff, all that type of thing.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, there's Trouble.
Yeah.
Hey, right. Nice to see you. Got your coin here with me. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think we might be up to questions, Algared, unless you think different.
Yep.
We have.
No, I did try to go through and get rid of all of our Nightbot type questions, so hopefully I've managed to do that.
Well, it looks like we've got about
Good
15
whack
questions. This could be a really short stream. So if you do have any questions, feel free to shoot some in, and me and Algared will chew through them pretty quick.
Yep.
All right.
I have seen a couple of questions that are very similar to the first one, and the first one is from Thorn 1234,000, and that is, how was the event in Australia?
The best part of the event, as I said, was just meeting up with people, and the meeting the people was just awesome. I can't really say much more than that. Was a couple little things learned, like the VR stuff for Squadron. But yeah, that's about it, really.
I think it was very similar. The takeaway was very similar to what I think we took away from SitCon.
Yeah.
Much better to sit in a back room with a video screen so you could watch it if you wanted, but then you can talk.
Yep.
For me, and one of the things I know Chris and Sandy were impressed by was the actual venue itself. The actual Luck Fortress is a great venue. This is a great venue for a bar citizen, because you don't have that deafening music that's playing at a normal pub, because it's a gamer venue.
Well, you and I went round. Well, you went all the way around with them. I went a little bit around with you guys, but then I had to drop off to go get some food that I'd previously ordered. But you and I, like the top area, we went through together. You continued on and went downstairs with them as well. So yeah. But yeah. Chris was checking out. One of the things that I didn't know, Chris was checking out the rigs that they had in the LAN room. And he was basically saying, you to play Squadron and in the best thing, you're going to be wanting a 400. I just remember
480
the
graphics card.
The pool table, because the
five
of us,
cool.
the five of us was sitting around this pool table, and they had this like projector light on the top of the pool table, and it had like those Chinese fish on it. Yep. And we're all like running our fingers on it, and as the balls or your fingers ran across the table, there'd be ripples. And I just remember Chris hit one of the fish, and then it like skedaddled, and it was like, "Oh my god, the fish! You can scare the fish!" And then everyone started scaring the fish, and then Tyler tried to pick one up, and I'm like, "No, bro, it doesn't work." That's quite funny.
That was I could almost see that would be I could see, wow, that'd be nice for the office. I could almost see that because that just the reaction, the reaction of, I think, everyone who saw that was cool. And the sad thing is, we went back later into that room, and guys were playing pool, and the fish were gone. It was like, oh man.
Yeah. Because I came back when people were playing, and I actually wanted to see the balls moving around with the fish. That would have been really cool, but no, it turned off.
No, it had been turned off. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So meeting the people was great. Spending time chatting and catching up was great. The venue itself was great as a venue to hold things.
Mr. Ducky, thank you for the subscription with the Prime on Twitch. Yeah. All
awesome.
Right. Next question, Algared, if you want to move along. I don't think there's much else I can say. If I say anything else, I'm going to get in trouble. So,
yeah,
I'm still going to say yes.
Oh, I think 90% of the problems come from either not knowing the Australian audience, or B, it being the first really big event in Australia. And so that
I just want to bite my tongue. I can't say. I disagree with your statements that you just said there. I think it's something else.
I'm being diplomatic.
I think you're being very diplomatic, and I'm being diplomatic by saying nothing. Right. Next question.
That's an insult. Does say internet. There were problems with the internet that did delay things significantly.
Actually, they were the CIG servers that were causing the issue. That it turned out later they were being DDoSed. Someone was DDoSing the venue or something like that, and that was causing a lot of the issues. So yeah.
Griefers. Gotta love griefers.
Maybe they were annoyed that they were being forced to watch all this racing. They just wanted to get to the Chris Roberts stuff. And anyway.
Yeah, possible. And
anyway,
if they were doing that, they failed.
Yeah, they failed. Right.
Ackland.
Yep.
Did you guys hear there is a new origin ship, or what the new origin ship is? We heard there's a new origin ship. We've just spent half an hour or so trying to work out what it is, and we have no idea.
Right. Next one, Algared.
Yep.
We'll come back.
Aaron Len says.
Yep.
Arian Len says, with variants becoming the meta for CIG ship pipeline, where do you think CIG take variant creation? How extensive, and what do you think will be the real outcome of CIG's focus?
I think it's also showing a kind of maturing of the ship pipeline too, because now you can kind of essentially look at a ship as a series of rooms and see what will fit in those rooms, and almost by process of elimination you can kind of work out if the variant's going to work or not. And then obviously the other part is, does that manufacturer fit said production?
Yeah,
you know, so
I think
that's a part of it. And then I think the other side is obviously, do they want to do that?
Yeah,
you know, but
and I think
but like the example like you and I gave is the Hermes with data running. Now, clearly data running would work for the Hermes. It works for the name. It works for RSI. But it's, do they want to do that? Did they even think of doing that?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. The other thing that all the focus on variants does, and it's a purely personnel employment factor, is it gives you the ability to train up staff, train up your team. You've got a ship, how are you going to modify this particular ship to do this role? And so you've got a framework that you can work in, which you know is safe, but then you've also got a library of assets you can use to pull in and again help you move along. So there's those types of things already. Now Spike says, have I missed a giveaway already?
Oh shit, yeah. We're doing a re-giveaway because we called out the Hermes, and the guy I gave him like 10 days and I forgot to do it last stream, and then obviously last week we weren't here because we were away. So we'll do that today. I'm just trying to think how we're going to do that. Shit. How are we going to do that? That's a really good question. We need to do it on a video so I can do a comment picker.
Yeah. And we can't use the last comment picker because...
Or I could do it on the Discord. Let's just do it that way, and that way it's people from the live stream. Darth wouldn't know how to do it. He's the only mod here, so that would mean that I've got to do it. That makes it really difficult. Shit. What is the name of that bot? Hang on. I might have to do it live, Algared. Might have to do it live. So let's have a look here. Let's go over here. I'll bring you guys along so you can see what I'm doing. I don't remember how to do all this now. Shit. Shit. What do I do? Log in with Discord. Let me log in. No. Yeah, that's it. Sweet. We want to do this server. We want to do giveaway. Is that what it is?
It is giveaways.
Yep.
First column, second one.
Oh man, I can hear the birds are good. Allows...
Yeah, well, due to that change that Discord made, you know, the problems we were having.
Yeah.
Background noises are a little bit louder.
Go to actually do a giveaway though. Like I can open links, but I can't go to manage server. Might be it. And then these are all my Discord servers.
Yep. So you go to that one because that's
no, but this is going to take me back to that same page. This is the problem with not having Lemming here. He knows how to do all this, and I don't. He's the Discord guy. I am just the little creator guy that does that stuff. God damn it. Modules, giveaways, settings, maybe. Create giveaway. Here we go. Right. We'll call it Hermes giveaway. Win. What are we winning? Actually, that's a really good question. Let's go have a look at what it
Hermes.
is. Yeah, but it's got shit in it too. I can't. So
Okay.
let's just. Yeah, this is messy, guys. I'm sorry. I totally forgot about this.
Yep. So did I. Even though the screen said, "Hey, we're doing it."
Yep. One of those. Anyway, my hanger. We'll come back to that. So it's going to
And
end.
Daft Digit.
Yeah. What did he say?
Daft Digit, thanks for the 1 tier sub to Minster Stunner.
We've got 2 hours left, so we're going to make it end at 10:45 a.m. So that's 15 minutes before we finish. And that is today. And number of winners is 1. Giveaway channel is giveaways, I believe it's called. There it is. I won't have a picture. Winner RSI. God, Hermes. Thanks. Dang. So what are we winning? I will have to go to all ships, and it is this one. So it is Star System download, lifetime insurance, and just the ship. But I will.
So it's a game pack.
Yeah, and it's a game pack.
With
With
LTI.
L. Thanks to set it right. Start your way. And did that come up in the Discord? Yes, it did.
Success.
Sweet. Right, success. Right, so if you want to get in the giveaway there, you go. You can type in !Discord, and then go into our Discord. There is a giveaways channel. You go into the giveaways, and it's literally the last post there that you'll see. And all you do is click the enter button. I can't make it any simpler than that. That's the most simplest I can make it. Mr. Stunner, thank you for the bunch of subs, 5 subs on Twitch. Really appreciate it. They went to
That is awesome.
Isis Ginger, Mike Lansing, Aaron, Dern, Booster, and Ratlin TV. Congrats, guys. Enjoy those. Make sure to say thanks to Mr. Stunner for those. Right.
Yep.
There's a hype train.
So you have 2 hours to enter that giveaway. It is up and running. I can see it. So it's very tempting just to hit that button just to see. But, yeah.
You can enter, but if you win, we have to redraw it all over again for someone else. So
yeah, no, and that would be annoying.
yeah. So there's a bunch of little emotes on there already. So there's definitely people seeing them.
At least.
So they're there now. Right.
Yep.
All right
Go
then.
back to the
So
questions
thank
while
you
I
for
start
reminding us about that, because I completely forgotten. You can tell I've had a day. Right. I've been running around getting things ready to leave because I'm meant to be in the fit. So this time next week I'll be on a plane or I'll be at the airport right now, about ready to leave. So I don't know what's going to happen with the streams next week. Paul said he was going to come and do them with Algared, but I have not chased that up, and that was some months ago. So if there turns out there's 2 streams missing while I'm away, you know why. But we've got pre-recorded episodes that we've done in advance. Some of them are pretty big, actually. One of them is a Fix My Org that we kind of let you guys know about recently. And there's a couple other ones. I know one's a review of a ship, and I'm trying to remember what the other one is as well, and I've completely forgotten because we've been doing them for a while now. Yes, we do have a sneak peek Thorn. I'm going to talk about that next right now.
And first time chatters, first time is Richo 3000. Yes, I Discord one, open up a Discord for you. How do you go there?
You have to follow the rules because it's a public server, right? When you have a public server, Matterbeast, you have to have rules according to Discord. And so you have to go into, when you first join the channel, there is literally a channel called Welcome. If you go there and just read what it says. I know reading is hard. Us gamers don't read, and following instructions is really difficult. But literally, you've just got to tick a box and like an emoji thing and agree to the rules, and everything will unlock. It's that simple. There's nothing that's
Yeah.
gated. It's just it has to be that way because Discord like if you don't follow their rules, they won't allow you to run a public server. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
So we have to jump through the hoops. So you have to jump through the hoops because they made us do it. It's that
Yeah.
simple.
Unfortunately, but that's it. So go to the welcome channel, do the things it says, and then you'll see everything, and then you just go to the giveaway and bang. But welcome to the channel, Matter Beast, as well.
Yeah. Right. I'm getting reports of something, but no, there is nothing there, Algared, as you can see.
Nope.
So
No
I don't know
update.
where that's come from, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Next question, if you're ready, please, sir.
I've just got to scroll up to the top again.
Oh, look at this.
Oh,
I'm not
few
the
more
only one that's
questions
not organized. Right, yeah, good to know.
No. Well, I had to change screen so I could see the
Yep.
see the event, see the giveaway. I'm just double checking that we've done that one. Right, Citizenverse says, do you think the crafting system will be a mobile module, and could we possibly have multiple crafting modules that enable us to build a crafting factory on the Ironclad?
Well, I think straight off the bat, the basic fabricators that are in the test, and the one that's that one they gave us for the skin for the event, that is mobile anyway. You can put that in the back of any shop, or even probably on the back of some of the vehicles. The one that's on the Clipper is a thing. So I think there's going to be a difference between a mobile one and a fixed one. Advantages to both, obviously, because you can obviously be more flexible one that's movable around, but then you're limited in what you can make. So I don't think you're going to get something as big as the Pioneer that's portable, but maybe you get a part of it that could be portable. Or do you have to? Maybe it's a step where you can take a smaller one that builds the bigger one that allows you to build the bigger thing.
Yep.
Essentially, but then you got to build two things, so it kind of balances out.
And unfortunately, for those hoping to build a Pioneer, I think the Pioneer is going to need the capital thing that'll be in a starbase, which means going through the building process to get to that point, and you'll need the blueprint, and it's a long process if you're going to try and build one. But yeah.
Well, the other reason some people asking why I'm only doing it on Discord. Well, I didn't want, we're doing it as a redraw, so I didn't want to kind of like do it as a real long drawn out thing after we'd already had trouble giving it away. So I thought we'll just get that one out of the way, because we've got other ships to give away too. They've given us like the Moth and stuff like that, or whatever other ships that we want to give away down the line. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
One hopes the
maybe I'll turn the moth into something else and give it away or something like that. Yeah, we'll see.
Matter B says, been a watcher for a while, but not a Discord pro. That's okay. Welcome to the Discord channel.
Yep.
And Unseeable Things says Pioneer owners are going to be blueprint queens. Yeah, I could see that. Anyone who's got a manufacturing or building ship ability to build ships is going to be a...
Lemming, if you go back and watch the VOD, you'll see me going, where's Lemming when I'm trying to make this giveaway? But I managed to get it to work, so yeah, it's all working. I had to remind myself maybe how to do it, because it's not exactly...
It was all the pings of people joining Discord that brought Lemming in.
Yeah. It's like, what's going on? There's a problem. Yeah, there's
a problem. Better get in and fix it.
So yeah, we're going to do a redraw of the Hermes, because obviously the guy that won that didn't claim it. So yeah, it's a process. But yeah, thank you for turning up, Lemming. Oh, there's Grim. Hey, Grim, jump on in if you want to have a chat with us, buddy.
Join us.
Good time to have a chat. Actually.
One of us.
Tell us what you thought of the episode, because that was a very long one, wasn't it? Like my idea when we did that the tier list was, I thought, oh yeah, if I cut it in half, it'll be heaps quicker. No. Then everyone wanted to talk more, and it took even longer. Yeah, and the only time I stopped anyone was Algared. We'd been talking for 20 minutes about what was the ship? It was the Corsair, and Algared just wanted to say one more thing, and I'm like, come on! Like, everyone's talked like 4 times of this thing. It's time to move on. And and
And you promised me an episode on the Corsair, and we still haven't done it.
Maybe we can do a second one this weekend and put one in the bank.
I'm not really burned out by it. I'm not really bummed by it, but yeah. Hey, Grim.
Yeah, maybe we'll get Grim along for that one because I know he liked to talk about it. How you doing, man? Haven't seen you for a bit.
I just went through what has probably been the hardest week of my professional career, so I apologize. I've been so quiet and absent from the community, but I just wanted to drop in and say hi.
You did say you had a lot on your plate, though, the last time we talked, so I assume...
Yeah, it was some of the hardest. It is probably the hardest last 7 days I've ever had in my career. Yeah, it's been incredibly difficult. Pretty much every night for the last 10 days, working till 3 in the morning and getting up at 7, like just insane. Yeah. I actually had a show tonight or had scheduled one. I got on YouTube, literally setting up the streaming stuff. Got on YouTube. I was like, all right, the Inforunners are on, and I canceled my show. So this is perfect.
You're always welcome to join us, man. Like, make an invitation, and never think that you can't competitively stream with us. You always can. I've got no issue with that.
I didn't have the energy, and I would rather watch you guys and just visit for a minute, and then I'll let you go. But I hope you've all been well. I know it's been a little bit of a quiet time in SC, so...
Well, you've obviously now know what crunch is like. I'm not saying you haven't done it before, but you know what serious crunch is like. So, yeah, it can be very full on.
It's rough.
Yeah, it's very rough. Yeah. So now you know what the CIG... And that's just a part of how games work. They always have this crunch. You can try to avoid as much as you want, but
last night I went to an award show, an advertising award show for my industry, and I won several awards. But while I was sitting at our company's table and we're getting awards, I am the only idiot in this place on my phone and tablet working. I was sending notes and stuff to artists as the award show's going on. So real classy.
Yeah. It would have.
It just shows, that's why the company loves you so much.
Yeah.
They want to keep you.
Yeah, just don't burn yourself out, bro. That's the only thing I'll say. I've been there. I've been there. I've been at the award ceremony. I'm totally relating to everything you're saying, by the way. But just remember, that's why I don't do it anymore. I burnt out. So it's from someone that's been on the other side. Just make sure you take that time to re-energize. If you want to sit down and play a game or something, reach out and we'll just go play a game and
the Warcraft Midnight early release started yesterday, and I've been playing that, and it's very relaxing. It's like perfect for my mind right now. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's like Algared goes and does salvage, and he just tunes out. But you probably want to Star Citizen out. You probably want to work out. Like, just pull those things out that you a bit work related and chill.
You know what's nice about Warcraft, and there's other games like this. I always thought this about WoW, though. You can just log in and it works. You know what I mean? And you can log out after 15. It's so easy to just dive in for a minute, dive back out. Obviously I love Star Citizen, but it required me to put a little bit more brain power into what I'm doing. But yeah,
I get that. There are times I'm flying the ships, and I'm certainly if I'm tired, and then I kind of wake up and I'm this far from an asteroid. Because I've done the head bobble.
Yeah, doing the head bobble, trying to get back to hangar and park the ship. I think we've all been there at some point.
Oh, yeah. I've got to get back to the ship, because if I don't get back to that hangar, it's going to send me elsewhere,
Or I got to wait half an hour to reclaim the ship the next day, and I can't be bothered walking back to the ASOP terminal to click the claim button.
Yeah.
I've had that too.
All of those are problems. But I used to like doing Diop for the same reason, but you like WoW. But back in the day, it got to the point where that monthly subscription, I'm not playing it enough to warrant keeping that subscription. So it went by the boards. And then I bring out the free subscription, but you can't access your old characters.
True, and it can be it can be any game, just those games that are low friction to get in. You know what I mean? You can
Yep.
turn them on, you know they're going to work, you play for 10 or an hour or 10 minutes or whatever, and it's just fine,
Yep.
and then you dive right back. It just, sometimes that frictionless gameplay is so great, and there's definitely a place for the stuff like Star Citizen and Arma 3 and the games that require all your attention, but then sometimes those simple
Or-
things in life are nice, you know.
Or even games that require more time, like you
Mhm.
know, okay, Star Citizen. You know, if you're going to go into Star Citizen generally, yeah, it's gonna take a 3-hour block or a 2-hour block.
Yeah.
Whereas you log into those other games, you know, yeah, I can play it for 30 minutes, and then if I'm just falling asleep, I can go, yeah, I'm done, and just go, and it doesn't change anything of where you are or what you're doing. Whereas in Star Citizen, it can have ramifications of what happens when you come back in. So, like, oh, I've got a 30-minute flight to 15-minute flight to get back to where I was, you know. So,
Mhm.
yeah, all those joyous things of gaming.
So, what do you think this new Origin ship could be, Grim?
Well, you know, if you would have asked me this at the beginning of the year, I would have said, "Oh, it's definitely the G12." But it really sounds like it's something. It really sounds like it's something more substantial than that, like a ship. And I don't know. Here's what I hope it is. The Origin field is pretty crowded from just a ship coverage standpoint, but I wouldn't mind seeing Origin tie into a gameplay loop we haven't seen them do before. And you know, when it comes to Origin, I think a lot of times about Mercedes-Benz or BMW or something where they are a luxury brand, or Lamborghini. They're a luxury brand, but they make industrial, like Lamborghini makes tractors, and BMW and Mercedes makes work trucks. And
You were going
Yeah.
there. As soon as I heard
You know.
that, as soon as I heard
And
Lamborghini, I went, he's going to the tractor.
Yeah.
I knew
And
it.
I'm not saying we need the Origin tractor, but I will say that I would love to see Origin step outside of its comfort zone a little bit. I think that would be really popular. I think there's a lot of players out there that want to do, you know, a cargo or an industrial thing, but they want that Origin manufacturer. Now, I don't know if CIG will want to muddy the waters, but in reality, brands do that.
Well, in law, the 600i started life as a cargo ship. So where there was a dearth of
There you go.
cargo ships in the EU, and Origin's 600i was their big cargo ship. So Origin
There
have
you go.
already done that, and then they actually repurposed the 600 series into the luxury explorer and transport ship.
Well, as you and I talk about things, Grim, I've been looking at the gameplay they've been working on, and I think thinking along the lines of what they've done with the mole and stuff, and knowing the 400i, I cannot connecting the most likely dots, right? I think it is because they mentioned a generalist ship coming. And remember how I said to you, I said, think about the 400i, how the 400i is a ship that's designed as a larger ship, but it's got the functions of a medium. Well, that's what the Clipper is. It's a medium ship with the functions of a starter ship, but doubled up.
Do you guys think that we're going to be getting generalist ships from every manufacturer or most manufacturers?
I don't know, but I think connecting the two dots, I think a generalist from Origin that's a 400i generalist makes a lot of sense. I think it's simple to do. You're essentially just taking you're essentially making an Origin medical bed. You're making a fabricator, and you're smacking into the cargo bay of the 400i. Done. Because
and instead of a one-person ship, it's a three-person ship. So
well, I don't know what the number's going to be, but you know how you've got like the 635C or something like that. This is clearly a 400 something F.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So is it a 45? So is it a 445F? I don't know, because 15 is taken, 25 is taken, 35 is taken. So the next number after that is 45, and then smack an F on it. Fabrication. Done.
Yep. So 400i is your base. Indicating the variants. 415 would be your explorer. 425 your fighter. 435 your full-on cargo. So yeah.
Do they just give it the next number up, and then, you know, if they make a science variant, it's the next number after that? And obviously the number is usually something tied to what it is. So I have to assume it's F for fabrication. So I'm just going 445F. Just where my brain goes. Now, I could be completely wrong, but the other thing is they said there's another ship coming that's like the Clipper, but a generalist, right? Now, you can't really go down because they just physically won't fit in a ship. We also know they're doing the ground vehicle, the auxiliary, right? So the only other place to go is up.
Yep. And we know it's not the G12 because they mention it in the video at 57 minutes and 57 seconds that it's a new unannounced origin ship.
And all they have to do is change the name or make it a variant. Even being a variant to them as a new ship, right? So I just can't unsee. Look what they did to the Moth and the Mole just recently. So I can't unsee them just taking the 400i being the latest origin ship, so it's the least amount that needs a rework, if any rework at all, and making it a variant. And also, like Margaret said earlier, I usually stands for modular, so it clearly, me and Margaret have talked for a while, oh God, at least a couple of years now, about them in the future coming back to work on a 400i variant. We've done it. How many times have we done it? At least 5 at this point.
Yeah, I've lost count. I've lost count how many times we've discussed it. Whether we've made videos on it's another thing, but we've certainly discussed it till the cows come home.
That's kind of where I'm at. But there is someone else that's here in chat that I want to ask. Lemming, are you still there?
I'm here.
How does that sound to you? Because you're probably the most origin fan. I know Grimm's pretty much a bit of a fanboy, but I'd say you're even larger than Grimm. Would that appeal to you? A 400i generalist variant like the Clipper, but in a 400i body. Would that work for you?
It would, but there's a space problem with it.
What do you mean a space problem?
Like it's not that big of a ship.
Yeah.
Like,
so what you do? So you know where the elevator is that goes up and down for the cargo or a small vehicle?
Yep. That's
completely gone. It is now a room that has a medical bed and a room that has a fabricator. The other thing is, if you look at the storage area, you know, the climate controlled storage area, they would also both be big enough to put a fabricator in or a medical bed.
Yeah, I could see that happening, but like it can't give up its entire cargo bay because, I mean, you're going to need cargo in order to fabricate. The
point is you can reorganize it quite a bit, right? So, for example, if you lose the bike, that's an area that could have been a cargo lift, right?
Yep.
The storage room for those climate controlled cargo, they could also disappear. And then also you've got the room itself at the back. So there are 3 little areas, like a small, medium, and large area. Now, depending on where they can fit things or how they want to structure it, I can totally see that entire ship working as a generalist. I think it works really well, to the point that, let's be honest, the 400 variant is essentially the cargo variant, or the biggest cargo variant you're going to get out of a 400i without drastic overhaul, right? And the only thing you could really do without drastic overhaul is removing the bike and putting a little bit of cargo in there. And does that really qualify as C moniker when you're getting like an extra, maybe 6 SCU if you're lucky?
Taking the bike out and putting your fabricator in that, with the entrance being at the, you know, the nuts and bolts bit where it spits stuff out being at that end of that corridor, would that work?
Yes, it would.
It would as well.
That's what I was going to.
Just tossing stuff out.
Yeah. Now, again, all points considered and noted, we can now agree that there is plenty of space in there for them to actually fit a bed and a fabricator. But the point still stands. It doesn't matter where they put it; they've got plenty of options to do so. So yeah. Or do you? So I'll now go a little bit further. What else would you see beyond? Not beyond, but what was your, before I brought that up? Did you have an idea of what you thought it could have been as in this origin ship? Because I'm leaning very heavily towards that. I could be completely wrong, but I'm just connecting dots on things they said. They said a generalist is coming this year. They said there's a new origin ship coming. And if you look at the way they've been doing variants like crazy, the 400i is absolutely prime for a variant. Connecting those 3 dots, it's very hard not to see it as a at least a possibility. So I'll put that back to you. What would you think it could be? Let me.
So I have actually hoped for this for a long time, but I hope that the 400i gets the full 300 treatment, so that the 400 that we have right now is turned into a 415p, and then there's a more generalist version that loses the back area of it. I think that's where the expiration point of the 400i is.
Yeah.
And that 400 frame gets used because it's such a great frame. Just the ship just tries to do too much right now and doesn't really do anything.
Yep, but that's kind of what the eye is meant to be. It's meant to be that middle ground that doesn't really do anything. And then if you wanted to go into exploration, do you kind of lose the cargo bay and it becomes something else, or it's got to make it's got to lose something to gain something else. That's essentially what those modules would be. But I totally agree. I think the 400i is really right for adding a couple of variants. And I'd also add this: say we do get something like the generalist, I don't think that's the last one we're going to see. I do not see them going back and doing a 400i and not at least spitting out a couple, if not multiple variants of that thing. And Megan and I have talked about this, like, the problem with a C, right, is it kind of already is that. If you think about it, like it's a cargo event, so I kind of rule out the C, unless the only other thing you could do is kind of like it goes into some of the other rooms, and that's just a little weird. You'd be losing the luxury element to pull that off.
Well, I was thinking you lose the exploration element in a big globe area, and that becomes more of a cargo-y.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah.
And then the P is also very similar as well. So I almost think that falls off a little bit as well. So what does that leave left? Well, you've got a combat variant. You've got the cargo we've already talked about. A fabricator works really well, like a generalist. But also then I think the thing that me and Algared went into more specifically is other things that they could do. So a shop, like a shop variant, is something that we've talked about. But the other one we talked about, Algared, was the science one, because Origin could do medical, they could do science, and stuff like that. So we've often wondered why it was called 400i, because as I've just stated, when you look at other variants of Origin ships, they just don't work for that ship because they kind of already do that. And
it's kind of a crossover between
it's too small of a
435 and a 415.
Right, yeah. It's too small of a ship to warrant full variant when you're only getting like a little bit extra, and that's my problem with it. But again, Grim, I could put that back to you as well if you want to weigh in there. Sounds like you want to, but.
Well, no, I mean, I've actually been leaning more towards this thing being a completely new ship, actually, and not a variant. And partially, it's due to a lot of the Origin ships needing some love. Although I guess that's argument for them going back and giving it some love by doing a variant. But I do sort of wonder if the 400i, just from a layout perspective, is conducive to like anything like a generalist ship or anything like that. It's been a while since I've actually been in that ship, so I'd have to check it out again. But I mean, I don't know. It's Origin. It's interesting. Besides the 400i, just the Origin ships we've had in game for a long time, and I think just a variant would sort of fall into the Hermes category for me. Interesting, but not very exciting. It would just sort of be an Origin ship we have that can do something else. It's been a while since we've seen a truly new Origin ship. You know what I mean? Even the 400i is an old concept. I mean, that concept's been floating around forever. I would love to see. Yeah, I'd love to see the new. Right, I'd love to see the ship team now take on a new Origin ship, whatever that is. New design, new exterior, new interior, and see the lessons that they've learned. And how they've matured in that regard, come into a new Origin ship. I'd really like to see that.
So I'll put this to you then: 200, 500, 700.
Yeah. I honestly
900.
would lean more towards the 500 series size type ship. Yeah.
It'll be 200 to 500 in my book. I think 700's out. It's just too big.
Yeah.
Lemon, go ahead.
So I think, and that's what I was hoping that they were going to announce on Tuesday, is that the 300 series is getting rebranded as the 200 series, which opens the door for a new 300 series to come in.
And I thought I was on Hopium, but yeah, that's cute. I like it.
Right. I mean,
Yeah. So you're talking about
obviously,
this because this I was going to talk about this later because there was a bunch of questions about this, but we'll talk about it now. So I think this is really important to bring into this discussion as well, because I think this is clearly what they were aiming for. They were going to do this around a new Origin ship and an Origin sale. I think that was their intent. I think they were going to try and have an Origin sale around the new ship, and something fell out of alignment. Yeah.
Yep.
Because this just feels really weird to sell this stuff in the middle of nowhere. And the other thing is there's the racing stuff events meant to be on soon as well. Why wouldn't you have tied Origin in with a racing sale? Why have this all on its own? Oh, that's right, because you can't sell this shit at Invictus. That's why.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I do really think that something was going to accompany this event and just didn't. Yeah, whether it was an announcement or something, but when they came out, because this event was like, we did this event last year.
Yeah,
it just wasn't Origin focused.
Yeah.
What was it last year? Out of curiosity.
It was just the the spring celebration or something like that.
I think
it was just called the celebration of it or something.
Okay. Well, there's because there is skins in the files at the moment for the racing. I could probably bring them up real quick. So that event's got to be coming. So, and they're modified. So I'm just gonna. There's only 2 here right now. That one, which is a modified version of I believe that was an Aurora skin last year, but don't quote me on that. And then they've got a Fury skin as well, which is a variant of another one. I remember what was the one last year. That was the bike, wasn't it? It was a Pulse bike. And a red skin like that. So, and there's also a Saber and the Raven variant skin as well. There's 4 different ones there, but I'm just going to open the one. And that's obviously in line with the Stargate bike. But that should be coming, I believe it's after St. Patrick's Day. I could be mistaken. But also, St. Patrick's Day is completely absent in the files. So I think the new ship is coming with St. Patrick's Day.
Well,
correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
that's like March 14th or something, isn't it?
Yep, March 14th. Yep, 15th, 14th, 15th.
Something like that. So when I'm away, new ship will be out. Look forward to that.
Well,
and,
we know CIG said 3 months for the Origin ship. That's what they're aiming.
Yeah.
Well, they said within 3 months.
Well,
within 3 months.
Well, so you've got to drop May out of that because that's Invictus. So that means it's either coming at Invictus, which to be honest, I don't see it coming in Invictus. I think so it's either going to be April or March. And as I said, looking at the monthly reports and going through those monthly reports, the next one that seems to be the next cab off the rank is the whole B. So I think we're going to get the whole B and then that. But the other thing is the other ship that's in there that we're going to talk about is also the Mark II Aurora as well, because that's also going to come out in the first half of the year. So that would imply though that is now June, so the month after. But also in June you've also got Alien Week. We need a very crowded space now all of a sudden, very quickly. So to pull it off, that we've now got 3 ships. So maybe one of those is coming in Invictus. Have to assume that it's probably the RSI starter. It's the only thing I can think of now. It's the only thing that you could kind of get away with being. Well, unless the Origin is considered a generalist, so they let it slide into the military. But
So
I quite see it.
So they could have a 425A at Invictus, and that could be the ship that is kind of
Allows them to sell the other
opening
stuff.
the door for all of the 400s.
True.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I do think CIG will get a little bit of the 600i rework hate for any new Origin ship that comes out, especially if it's a substantial one. So it's one of those things that like I thought the next time we'd hear Origin being back in production or Origin ships being in production would be when the 600i rework goes. It kind of doesn't matter if it's the gameplay's there or not. People are just desperate for that thing, and maybe this is a sign that's going to be prioritized at some point. But I think if it's any new like substantial 500 series type ship, then there's going to be a little bit of that hate.
I think you
around
are on a serious amount of hopium if you think the 600i is coming anytime soon. It clearly needs AI work properly and function properly, like most of the VIP ships do. And I think that is the end of the AI stuff. I think the start of AI is going to be around things like the E1. And I think you're going to find until you see the E1, you are not going to see the 600i coming until after the E1.
Yeah, I could certainly see the a 600i, the Explorer variant being worked on, because that's just a cruise ship, not a fancy touring ship. But I could see if we do get a 500 being worked on, I think that would be as was suggested, it's a precursor, because it's giving those tiles and developing that to indicate that, they're going to be working on the 600i at some point. But
okay, yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
But again, 600i, it's in game, it's working. Do we want them to not do new stuff or just work on old stuff and take them away from bringing out the other stuff? So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, so.
No, that's a good point. A really good point.
So all of those.
Somebody in chat. I'm sorry.
Solsdub said 17th of March is actually St. Patrick's Day. I'm glad he said that, because that's what
17th, yep.
I just knew it was in March.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, looking at CIG, it'll be like an entire week or whatever, So it will definitely be while I'm away.
One thing I will say about this potential ship, I do ultimately think it's going to be on the smaller scale, like no more than 30 meters, maybe a little bit bigger. And the only reason I'm speculating on that is that there technically is an Origin kit from what I can tell, but a lot of it's kind of like outdated and not like in not really in like how they do kits now, where there's actually a kit file. So, and I mean, that internally, obviously, that could not be the case, but just from what we see in the files. So I can't imagine it's any like larger Origin ship, because there's no kit that exists, and I can't imagine they would tackle that just to, without a kit in place. So I think like a lot of things, it's going to start on the smaller scale. I'm thinking like Cuddy size, somewhere around there.
And I can see why Lemming wants to rename the 300 series, because he's right. The 200 series clearly has to be a medium-sized ship, because that's the ship that's missing, right? So
has CIG ever done that? Rename ships?
No, but we've
the Razor was
they remanufactured it. They didn't really rename it, but point taken. So I think Freelancer, Zeus, that size of ship is what we'd be talking, and quite evidently that's most likely going to be the 200 series. But the problem that happens for people that are into lore and Lemming and stuff is that would then make those ships technically larger than the 300 series, but it is the lowest number we have.
My frustration with their numbering is
I secretly love that it drives you mental. Because it drives me mental, but I can let it slide when it drives you guys mental. Like I can just kind of go,
I hate that we've got the 85X, the M50, which are Origin ships that are outside of their normal numbering system.
Yeah.
And then we've got the 100,
a
gap, the 300, and they should have been. I always thought they should have been pulled into that numbering system and renumbered.
You and Lemming better pray they don't see this video then, because that's exactly what's going to happen.
It ain't going to happen, but it ain't going to happen. My understanding is the reason they are the 85X and the M50s. They basically started off as kind of experimental ships, so they didn't get the actual official numbering.
Yeah, which is why they were X, 85X, and it should have been
85X, and the M50 was designed as a ship to win the Murray Cup. So that's why I think it's the M. It's the Murray Cup.
M for Murray, yeah.
Yeah.
But again,
So
they could have just made that. They could have just made that X50 experimental 50, you know, and that would have covered the same thing. But yeah, again, that's what I'd probably do in retrospect. And yeah, Lemming is right. If you were gonna fix the law, so to speak, you would make that the 200 series, and the 300 series would more than likely be what the medium will end up being. But yeah, I'll give you that, Grim. If it's a new ship, I'd probably agree with you that it's going to be something that's medium in stature. That would also work as a generalist, believe it or not, but it would again be a solo generalist. So it would literally be a clipper, because that's what that's a very Origin thing to do. If you look at the ships that they have the qualities of a ship above them. They are. God, I butchered what I was going to say. Let's look at the 400. That's the easiest one to explain. It is essentially a medium ship's qualities, but in a size of a large. So it's got the absolute best quality components you can get of a medium, but but then they put it in like this needlessly big ship. That's the counterpoint. So you get a physically larger ship, so that's the negative, but you've got the best components of a medium. So yeah, and that's kind of how it balances out. So they make, you know, it's weirdly kind of one of the cheaper medium large ships, but it's actually also the most expensive medium. It crosses that divide. I'd have to assume it's going to be the same. It's going to be like an advanced starter. You know, like it'll bridge the gap between an advanced starter and kind of like, which is what the Clipper does. You know, it's got two functions, being the bed and the medical, but it's literally almost, it's not quite the same size as a Zeus or, you know, it'd rival a cutter. But it's only really built for one. So,
I just think for me, and I'm sure you all agree, I go on record as saying I actually like the Moth. I know a lot of people don't, but it's still not the most exciting new ship of the year. And we felt that way with the Hermes, and there was some others, you know. So I'm just ready to get to that point where we start seeing some truly new stuff that is really, really interesting. Hopefully, you know, this ship from Origin is that. I'm rather excited for the Mark II Auroras. You know, just something new to excite us. New hulls. We know that's coming. Obviously, we have some big ships that are in production this year that are fully new. But yeah, it's just we haven't had that so far this year, and I'm looking forward to it. Whatever the case may be. Even if the new Origin ship or whatever comes out in March is not something I would buy, I still like seeing new stuff. So here's hoping.
I just look at the way Origin name their ships. You know, G12 ground vehicle. The M50. Murray Cup. The 85X, originally in their law designed in alongside the M50 as two competing racing type ships. M50 gets, you know, M50 wins, 85X becomes the experimental ship. Then when they do the 890, they say, let's resurrect that ship and make it the snub ship for the 890. But you can see the progression of their naming and even the things that seem outside of that naming convention actually makes sense in terms of Origin.
So that's the other way they could go. Instead of calling it like the 200i, maybe it's something like a letter than a number.
Yeah,
like an S47 or 45 or whatever. You know, the S being ship, something like that. But yeah, Grim, I think everything you've said there has got some merit. I think it could be a medium Origin. I would not rule that out in the slightest. Yeah, I think they're the top two contenders, though, for me. 400i variant or completely new medium. I think either of those work. honestly. Lemming, you were going to say?
So, if the first 2 ships of the year have been any indication of what's coming for the rest of the year,
It'll be cargo.
I think this is.
Sorry,
well,
go ahead.
Well, I think this is going to be a year variance because.
Well, so was last year and the year before that, mate. Like it's literally been that way since I can't remember when it was, but it was August one year, and they haven't stopped. Well, other than December, there's been a ship every month since that, for like almost so it's been almost 2 years worth of ships now. Besides that one December ship.
Like a year of variant. This year will be a year of variants, but with a few unique showstoppers, like Ironclad, Galaxy, Raylan. It's one of those. I think it's going to be one of those years where there's a lot of boring and then a couple like really exciting ships that people have been.
Yeah, I agree.
So last year there were 7 new ships, and there were 21. Was it 21, 24 or 21 in total?
I can't quite remember. Or something. Yeah,
it might have been 24 then, but 7 of those were actually new. Go ahead, Aaron.
The other thing that I noted from even just watching that little clip was when they were talking about what ships were they working on. I think they went the Aegis ship, and then Disco went with the lasers. So that year of lasers might finally be coming in that. Yeah, with 1 or 2 new ships.
True.
So
I got that too.
But it also tells you when they're coming too. So one of them was a Drake ship that was fairly substantial in size. That's clearly the Ironclad. If the guy's working on an Aegis ship, it stands to reason that they're both coming around Invictus.
Yep.
I made a call and they said they put the Nautilus in production for me, so it should be there.
Yeah.
John was real nice about it. He said, "Yeah, whatever you want, Grimp." That's what his words were, and so I'm thinking...
my bullshit detector's going off the fucking tree. Look at it go! Oh my god!
Yeah. I think Bunsen's got it right there. It's a farming ship because there's so much when you're going around at the moment.
Just got out my hopium detector. That's gone off too. Look, oh my god. Yeah.
Anyway,
you kind of said something there in joking, Algared, but it actually is kind of a thing. Like, it is going to be cool when we get to that future point where all those other gameplay loops are in, like farming and stuff, where we're going to get farming ships and stuff. It's going to be really cool. I'm kind of looking forward to that.
I already know what you two are going to be doing. And just based on this episode, I thought it before when we were talking about the tractors. You and Algared are going to be tractor racing. I can see it now. We're gonna have it. We're gonna have it for charity at some point, and have you two race off. And I can see it now.
I will point out that in chat, I can't remember who it was, but one of the guys in Twitch chat did point out that Lamborghini started off as a tractor manufacturer.
That's exactly right.
I'll just rest that. Just hang that.
He had a tractor company. He owned a Ferrari, but they wouldn't do something for him, so he said, "Screw it! I'm going to make my own exotic car," and that's how Lamborghini came to be.
Yeah. Oh wow, I didn't know that.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So
and they still make tractors and farm equipment to this day.
Yeah, that's how I knew about it, because I watched Jeremy Clarkson's farm
what
thing.
Did he buy? He bought a Lambo.
He bought a Lambo, and then they complained about the Lambo being so out of date and piece of shit. What does he do? He looks at all these other tractors, and then he goes to buy
the new Lambo.
Oh my god!
Yes,
the guy loses his mind. Like, I love that show. It's just so cool how he loses his mind over Jeremy doing the stupidest shit.
But
it is funny.
You got to get in that one. Jeremy's going, "Yeah, I got to get a new tractor. And in the end, he goes, "Oh, I'm going back to a Lambo."
Yeah, and he literally borrows like 5 of them to review, and he's like going through everything, and none of them's a Lambo. And then just last minute, he goes to Lambo and buys a new Lambo. Oh, it's just so funny.
Yeah,
but I do find that funny how they were a tractor company, but
then,
now they have all this
too big for his new sheds.
So he had to build a new shed. Yeah. That's good.
Now, back to the questions. And before I do that, if you do want to enter the giveaway, Discord on the chat. That'll take you to our Discord. That will open the link to the Discord. Go into links Discord. Follow the rules. If you haven't joined our Discord before, go down to our giveaways channel and hit the little button for entering, and you should be able to enter. Easy. Too easy to do.
should be able to
So,
go there.
so no one claimed the Hermes. Was it the Hermes?
No one claimed the Hermes.
The person that won it, I waited for like 2 weeks and they never ever got back to me. So that's more than I normally wait, by the way. I was just like, hang on, that person hasn't. I just kind of reached out and went, hang on, they haven't reached out. So,
yeah.
Not a glowing endorsement of the Hermes.
Yeah.
I'm just messing. Hermes is a fine ship.
So we've got 105 giveaways currently. Oh, entries, 106.
And I've resisted the urge. There you go. So we don't have to do it again.
And we've got 50 minutes left. So if you're watching, I've made it a kind of stream only giveaway for this one. So yeah, feel free to go when you're ready. Yep, go ahead, Algared.
Questions. D14 Lone Star says, could the new Origin ship be a smaller vehicle carrier similar to the Asgard? Maybe they'll release a G12 of it so people don't get mad about the G12.
There probably is a need for one from Origin at some point.
Yeah.
I'll say anything's possible.
But the only way that I kind of lean into is something like a high-end racing transport is where my brain goes.
Yep.
But the other way I look at it is the racer travels in a separate ship and then the smucks just go in like a Hercules and transport it for him. So that's kind of the other way my brain goes. Do you really need an entire ship around just one little basic function that could be done in a slightly different way? And that's kind of where my brain goes. You know,
I always saw the Connie Phoenix as basically a racing transport ship. So
that works too.
The P-72 is your racing ship, and your crew and your racer go in luxury to the event, and that's their home away from home while they're racing. So but that's just me.
Probably something that would fall under you guys correct me if you think I'm wrong here, but under the purview of something around the 500 size, as in the Origin 500i. I think that's in that size vicinity.
Well,
yeah.
Given that the 600 was the version that came out to challenge and tell RSI how to do luxury properly, I could also see them having a ship that kind of supported racing. And you'll remember that the G12 was the luxury vehicle that came out with the 600i, and there's a variant of the G12 which is a racer.
I could tell you exactly. I'm going to let Lemming answer this one. So Tate Halaku, first time chatter in Twitch, said, I got the assault from my racing team. Lemming, would you be caught dead as an Origin owner in an ironclad assault for racing? Don't tell me he's not here now after we said that.
He is gone.
He's gone.
He wants to say, I'll go ahead and answer for him because he's given me authorization.
Right.
He loves Drake, and the Assault is a fine ship to support your racing endeavor.
He's going to come running back now you've said that. No.
It's a direct quote from Lemming. It's a direct quote.
Yeah. He wouldn't be seen dead in that thing. I know him too well. He'd be like, blah!
Certainly wouldn't use a Drake ship to haul my Origin ships or my high quality.
Yeah.
I look at it, if I've got a racing ship, it's geared up for my racing, I don't want to be flying that to the venue.
Mm-hmm.
If it's high quality, I don't want to be in lower quality stuff to maintain it. I'm going to be going for the high quality stuff to maintain it. So an Origin or a luxury ship that's in that high industry or high end design is a ship that to me fits better support for any racing community. I could see a repair ship like the Crucible but fitting that role as well. But anything that's kind of that higher end works.
Sandgroper's got a kind of interesting idea there that I never thought of that would actually work. So a variant of the Starfarer as a racing transport. Work, funnily enough.
Yeah.
So you got the fuel transporter, and then it can carry you change the hangar so it can carry like a ship. That would work really well.
It's even better than that. It's not only a fuel transporter; it's a fuel refinery, so you can actually refine your high grade fuel for your racer.
Hey, and we're supposed to get some refueling missions this year, so you never know. Maybe it's
Yeah, and you make it so you can kind of fly on one side and fly out the other, and you can just land a ship in there. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh.
And then and maybe you extend the hangar a little bit, because you wouldn't need as much fuel then, would you? So you could cut, you know, probably give up one of the you know, have a refinery and maybe 4 pods, right? So, or even less, because you're only doing it for a racer. So essentially extend out the hangar, have a really nice large hangar that also has repair facilities in it for a ship, and then have 2 ramps come down off the side. That would work really well as a variant.
Sangroper also pointed out,
Yeah,
CIG have already solved the Starfarer with 2 Noxes as a racing pack.
they did too.
So, and I can remember back in the day, I can't remember, it was I think I may have managed to get the P72 or P52 into the cargo bay of the
You could.
Starfarer. You just had to do it with your landing gear up and make sure you're going very, very slow. But yes. And I also
can't unsee that now. That would work so well.
Yep.
Like lose some of the fuel, because obviously that removes its main functionality, but you just don't need as much fuel for a racing variant, do you? And works so well. Planes fly in, or vehicles can drive up and through.
Do you know
so
what was the
essentially,
biggest trouble
Algared,
for ships getting in?
you know how we were talking about variants of the Crucible? That's what I'd do. I'd do a Starfarer variant that is essentially can be used for racing, or it's one that can land down on a planet, it repairs vehicles, or ships can fly through it.
Yep. Well,
that and if you connect all the dots, like he said, Starfarer in a racing pack, it loses some of the fuel, but it also gives it it's somewhere between the Crucible and the Vulcan as well. Oh wow, that works on so many levels.
And the fact that it's got crew, and the fact that you've also got the cargo bay becomes also your pit crew area, because you drive in and you've got the seats for the pit crew while they're waiting.
Yeah.
There's lots of things that work. The thing that I can remember was the big problem for getting ships into the Starfarer was actually the ramp. It was the ramp that actually caused you the trouble.
And you know how you've got the refineries and pods. So if you cut the pods from, currently they're like 8 pods, if you cut them to either 6 or 4, because again, you don't need as many, you could just put the cargo pods on.
Yep.
So you're essentially giving up it allows you to pick and choose, but instead of having 8 slots, you've only got 6 or 4, depending how far they want to extend it into. And again, do you want a much bigger hangar? You see where I'm going, right? Well, if you can make the hangar big enough to fit, say, a medium ship landed, that would be insane. Like a Zeus or a Zeus ST, saying.
Ben's have to run, but thanks for letting me hang out a bit. I appreciate you.
No,
Graham,
Graham,
I'll talk to you
get
soon.
some sleep.
Take it easy. Later, boys.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, that could be.
But you look at the Starfarer. I can remember loading vehicles onto the Starfarer, and it was like you capped out. A single person capped out, I think, 3 before they started resetting it and stuff back in the day. But there's so much room in that cargo bay of the Freelancer Starfarer. It's just insane. But anyway, moving on. Cordovan Splotch VT says, do you think 4.7 will just make the Paladin, Shiv, Stinger viable in game, or do you think that will include IAE lineup due to the extended length of time between patches this year?
I don't know how to answer that. They tend to put more ships in every patch. I do not know if they'll have all 5 in one Mac. But I'd say depends how long it takes them to get it done. You've given me a how long is a piece of string question.
Yeah, and that's a hard one. Like, we know they're doing going for bi-monthly patches now. So that's one. Will they be for the IAE lineup? Possibly. Will they be at another time? Possibly. It is that is as you said, a tough question to answer, and sorry, we can't answer that one because it's how long is a piece of string.
Yes.
Aaron Lenz 5002 says, is there a little bird Boeing MHM6M in game? And if not, who would make it, and should it be a variant? That's basically it. Big cannons out the side.
You know how they're working on a new Aegis ship? I wonder now if that is a Starfarer variant. I just can't unthink it now, because it clearly needs to be worked on, and they have to work on, like, can you see a couple of variants? And I can, like, I could see a refinery variant, I can see a repair variant, like I can actually see those, believe it or not, and it would also allow them to fix all the problems with the original Starfarer, and it's probably, out of all the ships in the game now after the Retaliator, right? The Retaliator's kind of had its gold pass. It's probably the most needing. Like, it needs a drastic overhaul, and it's not as big as, say, something like a Reclaimer, because it's more of a, yes, they're probably going to, for the variants, work on the exterior stuff. But again, because of that, it's that back nature. If you build the whole thing to become modular, right, you can solve a lot of problems pretty quickly. And I would it would be on par with what they've done to the mold of the Moth, is what I'm trying to say.
Yep. And yes, the Starfarer is MISC, but the Starfarer G is MISC / Aegis kind of conglomeration.
Yeah, he's right. It is predominantly MISC, though.
It is MISC.
Yeah, so thank you for the reminder. So yeah, that does draw it back a little bit, because it's only the G that has the Aegis on it. Yes, you are right.
But,
and it's the only ship in the game that I'm aware of that is a collab. There's others that come close, like the Merlin and the Connie.
Well, Merlin and Connie, that's Kruger and RSI.
But it's not a collab, but it's like a joint effort. I don't know how else to put that.
The Ares are a collab with Bering and Crusader.
Yeah. But they're
and
not.
Then you've got
they're not just on the one thing, right? There's ones where a gun and a ship go together, or two ships work in tandem. The two on the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's the only one like it. Everything else is like, I have A, you have B. They, So,
the G is taking the whole of taking the base Starfarer and upgunning it and up armoring it, and taking off a scoop and shoving a missile pod on it. And
then there is one other one. The Privateer, Cousins Crows, modifies a Drake Kraken. It's the same thing. It's just that Cousin Crow is not as a bigger manufacturer like Aegis.
Yep.
So there is.
So you got two.
You can see that it kind of falls either side of it. But yeah. But there is. And I'd like to see another one like that, to be honest. Can you imagine if the repair variant was like MISC and Anvil, or something like that? Like it'd be kind of fun.
Well, I could certainly see MISC, because MISC have done the military version of ships with the Starfarer. I could see them doing another one. I could see MISC also doing collabs with Mirai, because they're the kind of sister companies. So. That makes sense, and we've kind of discussed that in the past as possibilities as well. So a Starfarer becoming the mothership, Starfarer MISC being the mothership for the Mirai fighters, and even that aspect, So the
Starfarer attack.
Yeah,
Starfarer attack. Actually, kind of, it almost sounds like Starfarer attack. But
I always love the idea of replace the fuel pods with links for your drop pods for your Furies, and I dream. One can dream. That's a lot of hopium there. Anyway, European hardware enjoyer. What purpose do you think the hangars included in the pledge will serve in the final game?
He's talking about Revel and York, AeroView, stuff like that.
Yep. Originally, it was kind of the level of hangar that you would start with in terms of the quality of a hangar, but then it became just the ability, and used to be able to upgrade your hangar. So if you had a low one, you could actually pay to upgrade it to a Revel and York or whatever, or industrial hangar. But now then it just became a place where you would be guaranteed to be able to land. But I think now it's just, don't know. I can't answer the question because every ship gets a standard hangar,
Mm.
depending on where your starting location is. So it might give you the opportunity, depending on what hangar you've got. If you've only got a self-land, it might say, oh, well, you've got to start at that location because that's the only hangar you've got. If you've got a whole lot, then it opens up a whole plethora of places you could start. I'm spitballing. I have no idea.
All right. Next question, Agrid, if you would be so kind.
Next question
actually,
is...
Agrid, before we do, we need to talk about this, because I've had this up for ages, and if I don't do it now, I'm going to forget. This is the sneak peek for this week.
Okay.
Rock Cracker is my assumption there. The part of the space station with Rock Cracker. Nothing too special there other than the Rock Cracker missions are coming. We've seen mining changes going in. John, if you're around, you can jump in if you've had time to test. I asked John Citizen to jump in and see if he's looked at the mining changes, and the people I've talked to other people as well. They seem to have simplified how mining works. Instead of cracking a rock and it's got multiple materials now, it's generally just like one base material and an inert. There's no more mixing, so you won't see 3 or 4 different materials. It's just copper, for an example, copper and inert. You won't get copper, hephaestonite, and inert. It's just 2. There's no more than that, and one of them's always inert. Hey, John.
Good evening.
Hey, John.
What'd you find, John?
Well, basically, I only jumped in the prospector, went to Aberdeen, did a bit of scanning. I found the scanning very, very slow. Whether you were actually scanning with V on the, your mouse button or whether you put the mining out, and it was very, very slow to tell you what it was in there.
Yep, it was. But there are other things now as well, like when you scan an area of rocks, like if they're all in a clump together, whatever you find on the first one, so say you find a quantanium rock, all the rocks in that cluster will be quantanium. And as I said just before you got on, I don't know if you heard or not, but they seem to have, from what I've been told, is they've been dropped back to just one type of rock now. So if you find a copper, be copper and inert in that rock and nothing else. And then whatever that first rock is in the cluster that you scan, obviously you don't have to scan the whole cluster now. It's like, well, if I'm looking for hephaestonite and I found a copper rock, well, I don't need to check the other 5 rocks now because that one's copper and I'm looking for hephaestonite. So you can just move on. So in ways it's slowed down, but in other ways it's sped up.
No, that's false.
Okay. Well, that's what I've been told, but what did you find?
But basically, I came across 5 rocks. There was beryl, and there was hephaestonite as well. But whatever it was, all the rocks were not the same.
Okay, so that's the part. All right, but when you crack them apart, did they have more than one material in each rock? As in, like copper and inert. They just had copper and inert, nothing else. So just one material and inert, or was there multiple things still in the rocks?
There was multiple things still in the rock. When I split the one just out of curiosity, I think it was beryl, or it could have been copper. But there was quite a few 100% of copper inert, and only 1 or 2 which were mixed of the 2.
I'm wondering if the person that I was talking to has mixed up the testing environment with the live servers. They said that it went into live, but I'm wondering if they have mixed it up. Because I also know this person is a tester, so I'm wondering if they've got their wires crossed. But we'll see.
Yeah. But I did find a lot of hadanite.
Okay, so and then someone else first time chatter just said in the first crafting test, rocks had multiple resources still. This later testing had 1 resource per rock. So it sounds like it is for testing, and they've crossed their wires. That's fine. So yeah, I've gone and look at that for nothing.
And that was the first time chatter took us. Turska 635. Welcome to the channel.
So sorry for wasting your time there, John. Apologise.
No, it's not a problem. Because I've got to try it there again. My arm's getting better, but it still tingles a bit if I play for too long.
It was your legs.
Yep.
Pardon?
Yeah, maybe, and if it's tingling when you play with it, you probably shouldn't play with it. You know, like at your
And then
age.
when I'm playing with that, I use my other hand because I can use it longer.
Right. Oh, right.
Oh, dear. Didn't take long for you two to go to the gutter.
Yeah.
He brought it up, Al. I am sorry, mate.
I brought it up.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not bringing it up. I don't want to bring it up. I want to put it down.
Oh,
Get down.
See what I have to put up with.
Yeah.
Good evening, Spike, and welcome to the chat.
Yeah.
Costin Crow Christensen says, are the old hangars still a thing? Revel and York, etc. Yes and no. So you go to Hurston or Lawville, they're self-land. You go to Microtech, they are not Revel and York, but they are self-land. So
I would expect that there's certain places in game that can have Revel and York, but other places that can't.
Yep.
I don't think it's just tech level. I think it's a cost thing. Like let me try and think of an example. I think you'd be able to see Revel and York at Hurston.
Yep.
But for example, I'm trying to think of somewhere else. Because you might also see them at Art Corp.
I could see Revel and York at Orison.
Yep.
Not Orison, at Orison.
I can see it at Orison. I can also see it at Microtech as well, depending on who they are. But for example, I don't think you'd see them at, well, you definitely wouldn't see them at Grimhex. You wouldn't see them.
You would see the mining or the industrial hangars at Grimhex.
You wouldn't see them at Nyx, and you wouldn't see them at Pyro. So it really comes down to the amount of resources you have. So for example, you'll definitely see them on Terra and Sol, but you know, more again where you'd expect the luxury ships to be. You know, a bit of RSI stuff as well. So the bigger landing zones are going to have Revel and York. I don't think you're gonna. I think it's a need and a the reason we haven't seen the Revel and York ones yet is it's another tile set they've have to make, and we essentially saw the aero view first, and then we saw the safe lands come in, and now you can kind of see through the verse that we've got half and half at the moment. But I think eventually it'll be kind of the one you choose to rent, right? And only certain landing zones will have certain ones that are rentable. So when we originally brought the hangars way back in the day, almost every primary landing zone would be that higher security, higher maintained zone, and that way every single landing type of landing will be available. But I think if you go to say somewhere like Pyro, if you look at the really run down ones, they're essentially run down safe land, right? And I think you'd probably, I don't know if you agree with this on Algared, I think you would eventually see run down Aeroview probably there as well. But then when you go over into Nyx, it's clearly safe land again. But I'd also argue that you'd probably have that's somewhere between safe land and the asteroid hangars. I'd almost envision that you could probably have a bit of Aeroview there as well, but it is a predominantly industrial place. So if you went to another place that was the same level of security as Nyx, where that's very an industrial focused place, you might find one that's a bit more Aeroview. But I could see Aeroview appearing in Nyx. I just don't think they've done that yet.
I could possibly also see rundown Revel and York in Pyro, because at one time Pyro was flourishing with lots of resources coming out. So
there's just
look good, but
there's no predominant landing zone in Pyro though. That's why I draw back from that. But Levski, I could possibly give you Levski, right? And and if they build a landing zone, say on the planet in Nyx, potentially. It depends how they build it out over time. So I think the reason why we kind of haven't seen those is because of the actual kind of lore reasons behind those systems. Where if you had something like Nyx, but it was built out to the same extent as Pyro, and it had more planets, absolutely. I think it's a planet and landing zone problem more than a lore based medium low security problem.
Yeah, and I will refrain. I will revise. No, I don't think I would see Revel and York in next year's, just because the support network's not really there. But certainly in Pyro. But I certainly think in next year you would find that.
And Robert Voss says he still wants his asteroid base. Well, that's clearly evident when you go to Nyx. That is a safe land asteroid base. It's a cross between the two. And I think you're going to find that that's what you're going to kind of see. You're going to start to see, just like how they build out ship manufacturing libraries, and they're going to build out outpost libraries and city libraries. They're going to do the same thing with hangars, and they're going to start to have all this cross-pollination. So can it get to a point where you see a rundown asteroid Revel and York base? I think that would be a thing, where it was all Revel and York, but some of the panels have fallen off the wall, and you can see the asteroids behind.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Algared? Eventually,
I could see eventually we'll see a whole host of that. You know, you find, you know, I could even see finding old abandoned industrial hangars, because that's the thing they've talked about, and possibly even going, I'm gonna fix this up, you know, to be in unlawful space or unmonitored space. Then you fix it up, and it could get raided by people, just like bases, you know. So I could see that type of thing. But there'd be locations that people could take and attack, and you know, think Ark.
Yeah.
You know, I can see Star Citizen going down that build your base, have it destroyed, repair it.
I even see it going further than that as well, like going into ones that we haven't even seen before.
Yep.
But right now we're getting like generalist hangars. They've talked about putting signed annex rooms on, and stuff like that. So do end up leading into ones that are, you know, you got the more luxurious, you've got the more industrial, you've got the more generalist. Like, what are the different ways that you can move in between those?
Yeah, where's our star map room?
Yeah,
off our hangars. That was something that was said we were getting years ago. So that's the type of thing that CIG have got in their plans. It's not something they've canned.
Well, that little
it's
room,
just another room that comes in with building.
The little room they had up above where you could walk up, and it had the little sit down and eat, like a flight ready room, you know, is the best way to explain it. And the Revel and York had a bar and all that.
Didn't they have an office in the one?
Yep. You
kind of all the same.
Had an office. You could go up and go into the office, and
it was an office.
A different design, but an
office flight ready room basically, that was in the hangar, and they all had it. They had walkways up above and stuff like that. Again, we're talking about like back when it was the hangar module, and I know there's a lot of people that have probably never. There's probably people out there going, "What the hell are they talking about when we say Revel and York?" Because they've never seen it. It's been that long. You know,
York was monstrous in terms of space. It was like you had this. It wasn't just hangar and office. It was hangar, office, and basically a lounge area to the side. It was huge.
Yep. And they did that when they updated the Era View on that. Had that similar thing. Remember, it had those column things.
Yep.
The elevator. The lifts. Yeah.
So even the lift designs were different as well.
And Safeland had the real dodgy lift. The real, you know, it was just like essentially a platform that went up and down, but it was like, So again, you can start to see that they can cross-pollinate as they build out a library, just like they do for a manufacturer of ships. And I have no doubt that it'll be the same thing when the cities come along. We're starting to see the same repetition. Like we're not, again, as we usually do, we're connecting dots, but there are more and more dots coming along now that it's literally starting to make an image within the dots. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not rocket science anymore. We're not, you know, back in the day when me and Algared would draw, you know, conclusions between two dots, it seemed like so far away, but now those dots themselves are so much closer that it's not as speculatory as it used to be. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion at this point, because it's just the simple, most logical way to do something. Yeah.
Kragan has a question.
Go for it.
For you, X. Give it a quick answer. What would you like, what would you want out of a new Origin ship to make it something you'd use regularly?
I am kind of keen for the shop ships, to be honest. I think I probably would pick up an Origin shop ship if it came along.
So 890 jump in Execute's hangar is confirmed.
Or something that's a gameplay that is new, right? Kind of like what Grim said. He'd like to see them do something new. Wait and see. Wait and see. They've never quite
Execute's restaurant and kitchen. Gotcha.
Nah, Execute's butchery, and slaughterhouse.
Yeah. Well, that's in the 890 jump. You know, the kitchen.
We'll see.
Okay, Ackland.
Yeah.
I think what is missing in supply chain could also be a direction. He's thinking. Yes. What things are missing in the supply chain could also be why they go in, where they build their ship. Agreed.
And that will fluctuate too once the whole game becomes dynamic with the quanta system.
Yep. Roll 13 has a question. The question is it possible there would be a military resupply that did not refuel? Just something to give ammo, missiles, and maybe repair.
Probably the Vulcan
yes.
at this point, yeah.
Vulcan, Crucible. And we also know that the hull Cs are used by the military to as part of our logistics network. So yes, and yes to all of those.
Mm-hmm. And to add new ships into any of those lineups is not a thing that I wouldn't see happening either. So yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Project Gnome.
Hmm?
And do you think that we will ever see a refinery ground vehicle?
Absolutely. That's a no-brainer. I think you'll probably even you tell me if you think I'm wrong here, Algared. Knowing that there's portable fabricators, do you think that they'll make portable refineries? Because I think it's almost a foregone conclusion, personally.
I could see portable fabricators.
Mm-hmm.
I could see you build a refinery,
mm-hmm.
and I could see mobile refuel vehicles, but I'm not sure about a portable refinery.
Well, remember how they talked about back in the day that they had different types of cargo. So if you wanted cooling, you had to have a generator along with your thing. Well, that's how I see the portable fabricator right now. It's just a generator built in with the fabricator. So you can only do small fabrication, but it takes up a large amount of cargo. So that's how you balance it out, where if you put in a ship that doesn't earn it or own it, it's also got to come with a power supply to support it. So the power supply to support... You see where I'm going here. It's a negative to give you a positive. You're losing a lot of cargo space. And if you've seen have you seen the fabricator in game? It's quite large. Like it's probably akin to a 16, similar to a 16 SU cargo container. It's pretty large, right? So not a lot of the, you put that thing in a C1, you lose half your cargo, So it's the same thing. If you want to do refining, you can do it, but you're going to give up a shit ton of cargo to pull it off.
Yep.
And by the same token, you can't just smack this thing in the back of a cutter, right? But then you could take a cutter out with the base building, the little blade thing. And if you've got the resources and you're willing to bring the resources to that location, you can build a very small refinery, but then you've got to build it, you've got to power it. You see where I'm going? So there's a plus versus minus, or is it just cheaper than building a whole outpost? Is it cheaper to just go save up and buy the cheapest refinery ship? That's where it all comes down to, supply versus demand. Do I only need it for this one instance, or do I want to keep the refinery ship and keep using it?
Yeah,
play choice, mate. Play choice. I can totally see it being a thing. Knowing that the fabricator is already a thing, making a refining version of that is just a no-brainer, because essentially you close the door and then you basically just say it's a liquid container instead of a, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and you just take that. You just take that little terminal that's there and you just change the other side of it. So it's a terminal with a fuel canister or multiple fuel canisters, because obviously you're going to put the contents in and then it's refined into something else on the other side.
Yeah, and I could see, taking that further, vehicle repair, vehicle, whatever you got in ships, you could probably see. But yeah, it's a choice of, do I do base vehicle ship or not? So for me, one aspect says yes, because Sergio can do it. But I suppose my desire would be probably not to see a refinery vehicle, just because it just seems it'd need to be too big. But that's just me. I could be wrong.
Well, again,
I'm quite happy to do that.
Look at the auxiliary.
Yep. And
that's how I know it's going to be a thing.
Yep.
But I think you would agree with me. If you made it a thing, it probably wouldn't be military. It'd have to be industrial. And the only kind of industrial ones we've got at the moment are the grey cats. So I think we're starting to lean into an area that we haven't really seen anything before. The closest I can ascertain would be the CSVs.
Right, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Misk going to go down that line as well, because, you know, Misk, grey cat.
Or let's be honest, wouldn't it be nice to see a brand new ground vehicle manufacturer? Just saying.
It would be nice to see
probably like I know we've seen Drake, right? That's probably so. If you look at the two industrial ones at the moment, we've got Argo and Drake, but there are a lot of these little small manufacturers, right, that do medical supplies and weapons and stuff like that. That's kind of what Kruger was meant to be, but now they've clearly fallen in love with Kruger. Kruger's going to grow.
Yeah,
right. That's obvious,
yeah.
Right? But I'm in the same vein as you, Algared. Like, we've got all this established law. Why not explore a bit? And they were so resistant to Kruger for so long, and now they fall in love with it because they got all this creative stuff. Then go down that again. Make a new vehicle, and all of a sudden you might find you're in love with a manufacturer that you didn't even know existed.
And there are hundreds of manufacturers in Star, like companies, and that they've developed in Star Citizen. Hundreds. Not just a half dozen or so we've seen. There's hundreds of different companies and logos that are developed over time, and just in the lore, just fat out stuff. Like
I'm with that. Aaron Lent in chat. He says we, as in capital letters, need an agricultural ground vehicle manufacturer. I'm right now calling for CIG to make. I want to see with a pitchfork Algared's Farms, and And I said, I reckon that'll be a winner. I would be on to that. I would buy an Algared's Farm tractor in a heartbeat.
Algared's Farm, it's like Clarkson. He'd probably have gone and bought a Lambo.
And just like you buying stupid tractors, and I can be in the background just telling you what a stupid idiot you are. Oh, this thing runs itself.
I bought an Origin tractor or a Kruger tractor. Yeah.
And John just comes around and sits there on the fence like Wilson and laughs at the pair of us. I can see him doing that.
Well, I would do.
But yeah.
See, some great ideas in chat. Another one there by Reebok says Gray's Market retrofit ground vehicle would be cool. Taking the auxiliary and then combining it with a CSV FM, and it's got like tankers on the back or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. There's nowhere they can't go now, right? Because they've made Greys and they've got all these other little lore things in there. They've just got to. You have to embrace the lore that you made, and that's what I'm seeing this disconnect. They've got the lore, but they've up until this point they've just been doing whatever the fuck they want. Now go back and look at your lore, and I want you to build me a ship. This is an exercise. If you're at CIG and you're just watching this, I want you to, John, you're breathing really loud like Darth Vader. I want you to go back and look at your lore and just concept a ground vehicle that fits into one of the laws that you have, like Cure Life, or pick the myriad of others that you have.
But not a Grayson ship.
From Grayson. Yeah, just something that you've never touched before, and just see what falls out. Because I think once you start to explore your own lore, things like Kruger are going to happen again. I think you're going to be really surprised. You just need to go look at your lore, and I think it'll be really exciting for you.
Now, I think they did look at the lore. If you look at the current event, the save Pyro, save Nyx, save the poor people with the horrible virus and the mold virus. Because Grayson is a company where Nyx bought their filters from. So what Grayson in lore has been dragged between the courts dozens of times because they are known for manufacturing industry and always selling faulty crap, super cheap things.
Must be tied in with those Hurston guys then.
No, Hurston, on the other hand, might treat their workers woefully, but they do not stop fishing, but they do not cut back on quality. In fact, a Hurston junior manager, one of the family, basically got fired because he cut corners which affected quality.
No, I know all this. I'm just fishing.
I know. I knew
You take the bait so hard.
You know this, but our audience may not.
Hook, line, and sinker. Sir.
No, I saw you doing it.
You've got no gag reflex on that hook, sir. Just straight down. Yep.
But yeah, so Grayson's are the company that in law is known for industry, and they almost went bankrupt. The way they save themselves from going bankrupt is they bought clothing lines, and so most of their clothing lines are cheap and quick to get. Made by Grayson.
I'd really love to grab Paul for an episode this weekend, and do that. Like, if we could do an episode where it's not, people have asked us to make a vehicle or make a ship or something like that.
Which in-game company would do
it? But more of a thought exercise for CIG. So basically let's look at the law. Let's look at a new, manufacturer that or not a new one, but a manufacturer that's in-game that would be appropriate to build a vehicle around, and just do it as a thought experiment to show CIG how they could do it. And then, hopefully they watch it and it gives them the thought and drive to do the same thing. That'd be kind of cool. And I think I know I'd enjoy that. I know you'd enjoy that. I know Paul would enjoy that. And hopefully the community would enjoy that as well. Totally speculatory. Probably get 0 views. Who gives a shit? We'll just throw it out there, and if it inspires them a little bit to do that, I think that'd be kind of cool. I'll reach out to Paul.
I've got to also talk to Focus here. Now, Focus. It's not generationally enslaved. They're contracted workers. They're working for the man. So, Hurston workers are contracted. They're not enslaved. Slavery is against UEE law. Hurston have never broken UEE law. They just stop laughing, John. They don't. Hurston don't break the law. They stick to the absolute letter of the law. Maybe not the essence of the law, but the letter of the law. They do what they're allowed.
If I bring Paul along, it would be after captains, so you'd be lunchtime.
It would be lunchtime.
Yep, I'll be around there.
Aaron Lentz, in your humble opinion, what would be the ideal Aussie-based CIG live event? Sitcom. There you go. Wouldn't happen. But
I think it would be fine to just do like a bar citizen with a few of them calling in on audio calls, or not audio calls, video calls. That'd be fine for us. Just sitting there, being able to talk to them, and taking questions from the crowd, and basically just pass the mic around and ask a few questions. That's how I'd do it.
Now, while I said a sitcom, which would be the absolute bee's knees, awesome, fantastic, wow. I think probably the best live event would be a live watch party with one or two of the staff and them coming, and then having that call-up option. That'd be the type of thing I could see.
I'll just show this real quick, actually, Algared. This is probably the coolest thing from the event. I've got to get the light on it properly. But they did this coin, which is like an F8 with the Sydney Opera House and what do they call that spire in the background? Sydney Needle or something?
I call it Sydney Tower. I don't know what they've called it now because it's got a new
every time someone buys it, it changes its name. So it's similar to the.
It used to be Centrepoint Tower because it was like the center point of Sydney. But,
that's
Sydney Tower. Yeah,
it's really not. That's a cool little memento. I do like that. So,
Where did you get that from?
That was from the event we went to last weekend, John. Atmo. I'll show you the other side of it.
Atmo Esports, kind of. Yep.
So there's the other side of the coin.
It's Uwu.
Oh yeah, I noticed that and pointed out to a few people. If you put it upside down, it almost Says
It almost looks like it spells
Uwu.
Uwu.
See,
So it's a Uwu
UW.
coin.
We've been calling it, yeah, the Uwu coin. But yeah,
Did you get me one while you were there?
That's
oh
Yes.
no, we forgot John. Oh, what a shame. Eh?
Oh,
Offset
bloody
studio.
hell.
Ah.
I hope you've got somewhere to stop next time you come over then.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay in a hotel.
Yeah, in chat, Offset Studio says
I
it's
know
been
a
Westfield
wonderful-
Tower for the longest time.
Yeah, I know a wonderful
yes.
person that lives in the UK. This lady called Diane. I'm gonna stay with Diane.
Yeah. 5 minutes for the giveaway. Spike has just pointed out.
She
So
is
if you
the
do want to enter that giveaway, go
best
to our
cook.
channel and go to the giveaways. Click
Yeah.
that little button, and you can be there. I Discord. If you're in chat and you want to know how to get to the Discord, make sure you follow the rules,
Mhm.
and then you'll be able to see everything and get to that point and click on the enter the event, and you will be in the draw. There are 139 people at the moment, so you have a little less than 1% chance of winning.
How could you ruin my joke? But for those that don't know, get the joke. Diane is John's other half.
And she makes the best choc chip
Yeah.
cookies. Choc chip? Yep, best choc chip cookies.
Just to carry on with the Diane bit, we had cottage pie tonight,
Oh, shut up.
followed by homemade Bakewell tart.
Yeah. Don't say that about Diane. Anyway, right.
All right.
Right, go.
Now-
Next one, Algared.
Just right, did have a question about the Origin ship spring sale, but we did talk about that earlier, so I do think we answered that question, so we'll skip that. Radium TX, and if you feel we didn't answer that question adequately earlier, just right, put another question in. Radium TX, new Origin Aegis and Drake ships are coming in the next few months. Yes, that's what they did say on the show. So what are our predictions for what these ships are?
Well, I think we kind of talked
I know
about
we
the
haven't
Origin.
talked about that.
We talked about the
Yeah.
Origin one, but we didn't talk about the Aegis one. So I think the Aegis one, knowing that it's having the sound work done, similar to the Ironclad, and Aegis being a big military manufacturer, I have to assume it's military connotations.
Yep. The Drake ship, I think, is the Ironclad.
Agreed. So my brain, I specifically just want to focus on the Aegis one because we've already talked about the Origin ones, blah, blah, blah. I was only bringing up the Ironclad one because of implying that it's coming out at the same time as the Invictus. So really all I want to focus on is the Aegis one. And when I do that, I hear Paul in my head going, Wolf Claw, Bear Claw.
Yep.
And from what I remember him saying, now you probably remember better than I because you're more lore focused than me. Is that they both had cargo of some description. It was a cargo combat-y thing, is what I remember.
Vaguely remembering that. I know they were kind of that heavy-ish fighters type thing. So you read some of the early lore and it's they're the kind of fighters that are going out and doing so from memory. So yeah.
So that's kind of where I go. Bear Claw, Wolf Claw. I remember that was the Aegis Inquisitor. I don't remember that one bother at all. I didn't have 1:30 on this giveaway. Hang on. Let's have a quick search. I don't remember anything about this.
He says,
oh, it's made by the community.
Says, seriously, one of my favorite fan-made concepts ever.
Let's have a quick look. We don't have a lot of time though, but I will let that load. I just see a spirit as soon as I open that up. Yeah, it's just an Aegis spirit. How long ago was this? 2023. Yeah, this is just an Aegis spirit. This is not. Yeah, it's just an Aegis spirit.
Just someone reskinned it as Aegis.
Like, because seriously, like it's just expanded out the Raven look, and it almost looks like a spirit. I Yeah. All right.
Take the Raven, chuck off the holes, put engines on the side. Vulcan would be nice,
Algared,
but
20 seconds
we're almost ready.
to give away. So, good luck to everyone. 148 people in the draw.
10 seconds left if you want to get in.
No, too late now. I reckon it'll be delayed now. It'll already be over for them by the time they see this. All right. Good luck. And who is the winner? The winner is Techno Amalus.
Yep. Techno.
Is Techno Amalus around anywhere? You in chat?
And if he is, give us a hi, and and you'll have that. And they are in Twitch.
There is Twitch. Reach out, Tech, and via Discord. Just shoot me a message, and I'll get that off to you after the stream is over. So
well done.
Just need your RSI email. And if your Discord name is well, I guess that is your Discord name. So
and your site login name. So
yeah, it's all good. Yep, just shoot me a message, man, and we'll get that off to you.
Yep.
Excuse me. Right. Next question, Algared, when you are ready, or did you want to go back to the ship? Looking at this.
No, we were kind of talking about the ship predictions of those. The Drake we already knew because that was the Ironclad. The Origin we talked the death off, the Aegis ship. It'd be nice to see that. I could see them going smaller.
Unless they go military industrial. That's the only other place I can go. And again, if it was an Aegis ship that crossed the line between, that could have variants, like a combat variant, a cargo variant, and maybe an industrial variant, something like that. But yeah, there's not really...
If I were going industrial, I'd love to see the Crucible.
There's nothing really in the... Am I wrong? Am I wrong in stating there's nothing really in the medium vein from Aegis? And I think I'm correct in that. I know you've got the Retaliator, and you've got the other fighters, but there's nothing like the Vulcan would technically be medium as well, but there's nothing. There isn't, is there? I'm not wrong in that, am I?
I can't think. No. I can't.
When do you think we're getting the Vulcan?
The Vulcan's got to wait for the drones, so it'll be after base building, and it's a part of repair, and so you're probably going to see realistically something akin to that Starfarer we were talking about, where it's not going to be the Crucible and it's not going to be the Vulcan because they are older and they have issues. I'll make something straight off the bat and it'll be designed completely around that repair gameplay, and that's probably when you're going to see it. It'll probably come out after that. And we've seen that repetitively with other things. Like you're probably going to see it again with refining this year, right? We had the Expanse come out. We've got the Galaxy with refining. I would almost bet money we're going to see a ship in the middle that is the first ship we see that's brand new with refining. And I'd assume it's going to be exactly the same thing with the repair, base building. Like they're clearly working on the forge, somewhere in the middle. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But it tends to be a new ship that carries something forward, and the older ships were just designed because they knew due to their size they could come back and work on them.
Bowler 99999 has a question. What do you think the next mini game, akin to the basketball court in the Polaris and the Perseus, and I'll also say the 890 jump, will be?
What's that? I missed the question.
We've got basketball court in.
But the next ship with the basketball court.
Next mini game, akin to.
I was just going to say the Javelin, because the Javelin will have a basketball court.
Well, the Javelin's got the basketball court. The 809 jump's got the basketball court. But I would love to see the next mini game actually be the pool tables being used. We've got the chess set will work, kind of, sort of, but the pool tables, we can that way. Your balls actually become weapons in a you pick them up and you peg them at people.
What?
So, but
wait. So you want your balls to be weapons that you can pick up and throw at people? That's what I just heard. Did anyone else hear him say that? That's what I
Only
heard.
you would take.
Someone clip that out of context, please, and send it to the nearest healthcare professional. Yeah, bro.
I would like to see the pool tables be playable, where the cue
okay.
balls
Right,
are
yeah, sure.
useful for weapons if needed.
Context matters, Algared.
So that way he wouldn't have to play pocket billiards, would he?
Oh, he's already doing that. Don't worry. He's doing that already. Algared, you cannot give me an inch because I will take a mile every single time. And when John's here, it's even worse. He'll do the same. Anyway.
So both bad. That's all I'll say. Citizen Verse. Could the Origin ship be a blueprint data runner? Resize ship possible. Anything's possible. NG Hellstrom. Any info on the 4.7 entering Wave 1?
Algared, someone sent me this. And
I just saw that, yes.
I want to show it because it's funny. Yeah, keep going. You just keep talking. I'll just leave it in the background.
Yep. But Old Man Hurston is a herder, not a farmer.
Algared, Agrimech. I'll stick to my comments.
Agrimech.
Agrimech. Algared, Agrimech.
It's not the pitchfork I had in mind. I had the one from the old school one.
Yeah,
You're
looking at the old farming photo with the old.
Where's the combine harvester?
I will say I don't mind those. Yeah, those combine harvester things in the background look very Argo. They actually look kind of sick.
They do look Argo.
I actually like them a lot.
Argo Trek. Yep.
Yeah, Argo Agriculture almost writes itself. A division of Argo, whatever. Argo. What is it? Argo Aeronautics or whatever it's called.
Yep. So any info on 4.7 entering Wave 1?
No, it won't be in Wave 1 because it's not even in Evo or PTU yet.
That's why I asked. Any information on it?
Yeah,
the answer is none.
I would have to assume that it is probably going to be coming with so you had January. It'd be next month. So it's probably I'm going to be honest. I'm probably going to miss out on it because I'm probably going to be away.
Yep.
Be honest. So yeah,
that's okay.
Next couple of weeks.
So at the moment, no.
Yes.
Next question from Father and Son Gaming. What do you think? What do you think when CIG is announcing the date for CitizenCon this year, or when do we think they will announce CitizenCon this year? When they know more about Grand Theft Auto. Because I think that is going to have an impact on when they release Squadron, and that's going to have an impact on whether they do CitizenCon as a launch of Squadron whether CitCon's a launch of Squadron or whether it's another version.
You kind of think about it, it makes a lot of financial sense to do them at the same time because it just cuts costs. Like it's just a logistical thing. Like you think about it, why would you spend the same money twice when you can just put it together and do two birds, one stone? It's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, even the idea of that the gala event last year, that was tied in with CitCon, and I honestly think that was the red carpet event with the contractually obligated cast to turn up for the launch.
Yeah. So it's probably in the same vein all again, isn't it?
So I could see that, but yeah, I think the date of CitCon will be determined. I think in some ways determined by more information from Grand Theft Auto, because I think they want to avoid a clash, because everyone wants to avoid a clash. So, and if it comes out at the time it would just happen, I don't think they'll release Squadron at that point. They'll release it afterwards, and then I would imagine CitCon would be whatever. Could be digital, could be just a live, but I don't know. But that's my guess.
Occupational Observer said it's clipped.
Yes, I was ignoring it.
I know.
Cool, I need another ringtone.
No.
Every time Aaron sends me a message on my phone, it goes, I'm a terrorist. I'm a terrorist. I'm a terrorist. That's great. What do I make that one, John? Every time he calls? I'm playing with. I want to throw my balls. I want to throw my balls. Oh, that'd be. And then I get him to call me when he's in earshot, so you can hear it. That'd be even better. Yeah.
When he's
Where's Execute? I'll just call him, and all he's just. I want to throw my balls. I want to throw.
Okay. Reebok Raids has a question. Do you reckon crafting will be modular with conveyor belts and connecting machines, or is it a higher tier when building bases and stuff come in? Or will it be prefab buildings or pre-prepared structures?
I think they will be connected, but not to the same extent of something like Satisfactory.
Yeah.
While that would be really, really cool, you've got to think about entity count. And if you've ever played something like Satisfactory struggles to do that for 4 people.
Yeah. And
so when it comes into a networking game, you've really got to keep that entity count down. And at the buildings I'm looking at and seeing, they clearly have some of them that are more complicated have an interior. So when you have a farm, though you can see things on the outside, when you go into it, it obviously culls all the inside stuff away, and stuff like that. So they're going to try to use culling a lot. All those same problems you have with ships, like when we talked about the Hermes, like, oh, it's got a lot of cargo. All of a sudden the entity count goes up, so the window disappears. Any of those things that can keep an entity count down, they're going to do. Yep. But a refinery pump doing this, that's still just one entity, because it's just, this is where the refinery ship goes, and it's playing an animation.
Your conveyor belt is a tube that links two buildings together.
So having a little door that pumps out one entity at the end, yeah, that's totally fine. But you know, if it's something that's shooting it out and then you take it and you put it on a truck, yeah, that's totally fine. But say something like an external cargo lift, that's totally fine, because you can have the lift go down and it hides the cargo. But you're not going to just see loose cargo sitting on a pad and it just stays there forever. That's just not going to be a thing.
Yeah, or going from one building to another, because that's, again, just adding entity counts, and then it gets knocked off a conveyor belt. Yeah, that's just adds that count, ends up lagging the game, etc., etc., etc.
And you can already see that problem in some other games, by the way. There's the game I bring up, Eco. Think about Eco, Algared, when you chuck everything in those stockpiles. Imagine if they were not stockpiles, but they were like sheds.
Yep.
And you close the doors, all those entities disappear, all the problems with this. That's one of the things and people have so many stockpiles. That's why the game lags like crazy. So they've got to figure out a way to bring those entity counts down, and I just don't think they've realized that that's half their problem.
No.
But anyway.
No, I think they kind of do know that, but yeah. Offset Studio. Do you reckon a 600i is also going to be modular after rework? So the touring and exploration is interchangeable.
I think it's already implied and in-game. I think you said it, Algared, when you buy the pack that comes with both, you get one and the module is the other. It's clearly a part of how they want to sell them. They wanted to have their cake and eat it too, and I think that's one of the ongoing problems we're having. I think a lot of things right now, they're sold individually, but clearly later they're going to be interchangeable. Like, for example, the Atlas. I cannot see the Atlas suit not just having interchangeable hands and backpacks.
The 600i, when you, even though you get it and you get the ship in game, if you look at what it is in your hangar, it is actually the exploration module, or it's a touring module. I can't remember which one is the module, but one is the ship, and then one is the module. So my gut feeling is, eventually they will be modular aspects.
It's like you said, that I is meant to imply a modular aspect, and right now the 600i. Here's another thing I'll throw out there, just to give you guys some more hopium. What's to say they can't add more modules to the 600i down the road?
Yeah.
You know, why can't we get a 635C? Why can't we get a 615P? Why can't we get a fabricator variant, a shop variant? You know, what would that be? That'd be a 655S.
Paul would argue the 635C is basically the original version of a 600i. They took that, because it was the the original design of that ship was a cargo ship, and then they've gutted out the cargo and took the luxury aspect in, or the touring aspect in, and they gutted it out in and put the exploration version in. So you were going to say, John?
Yeah, well, I was going to butt in and just say good night to everybody, and good night to you too, and well done on the giveaway to whatever his name was. It's quite difficult to
pronounce. It's tech anomalous. But yeah, I was going to say, he's totally forgettable. John's he's totally forgotten, he doesn't care. Right, yeah. Anyway, all right, John, tell Diane for me and you have good sleep.
Yep.
I will. Good night, both.
Bye-bye.
All right.
See you, mate.
Angie Hellstrom says, do you think the IAE, do you think for IAE when they drop the Galaxy, they'll also drop new modules?
Mm-hmm.
Reasonable.
Well, yeah, the manufacturing module would be a serious contender there, wouldn't it? Or shortly after. But I would hope by that point we've probably got. That's a really good one.
If manufacturing's there, yes. If it's not there, no.
See, manufacturing falls into two places though, doesn't it? It's base building and crafting. So which one do they lean into? And I keep saying, I think they're going to make it a crafter, not a base builder.
I think the original idea was a crafter.
Yeah, and I think that's what's happened with Todd Pappy, and they've basically, Todd Pappy's heard the wrong thing and then kind of said, oh, so it builds ships, right?
Yeah.
But on the website, on the official documentation, yes, I know they showed an image of it being a base builder, right? But I think realistically, if we all step back, and I mean all of us, not just the people that brought it, but the whole community sits back and goes, well, we've got the build that builds bases, and it's a variant, and we know modular ships are not as strong as variants. This ship will never be, if they make it a base builder, it'll never be as good as that is anyway. So why not make it its own thing and make it just the fabricator? And there's two, as you and I have said, there's two advantages to that. You can make it so that it builds not just little trinkets and stuff, but it also can build ships and vehicles, and that gives it a completely different place to stand, and it gives it a massive advantage because you've got the hangar on the back that can fit those smaller vehicles like Pisces and stuff like that. You could build yourself a Salvation now, you could build yourself a Golem Ox, like all the little things that you could build. That puts it in a completely different ballpark to any other ship in the game. There is no other ship right now that can build other ships. In fact, it would become the test bed probably for building ships and vehicles, which would make it extremely cool. And you'd probably get that sooner, because having all the modules and having this ship completely done, why wouldn't you? You know, like why would you reinvent the wheel and make a whole nother ship? Well, you wouldn't, because you've only got to do the module. And so they get something that no one else has. But if they really, really want the base building stuff, I think they're screwing them. And there'll be some person that'll want that, right? I can see that already. But if you just make it so that there's for those people that really want the base builder, give them a $0 CCU or something that takes them straight across to the build. Or offer them upgrades to the build.
100% agree with you. And I think when you look at the as you said, look at the original sale stuff. The original sale stuff wasn't a builder; it was a fabrication plan.
Okay.
The manufacturing plan.
I just have to clarify something real quick before we get too far down the line. Marty Nowsen 555, but it's not in the game yet. The Galaxy will be the first ship in the game. I'm saying it's a unique thing that nobody else has yet. I did say yet. Yet. So it'll be the first ship where everyone else is building bases. You'll be the first people that are able to, like, you can build ships out of bases even, and out of the Pioneer and other ships, but it'll be the first one that can build them in space. For example, like a Pioneer can probably build them in space too, realistically. But sorry, Algared, but I had to clarify. Sorry.
No, I agree with you. No, I think I was trying to finish on that point anyway.
Sorry.
I do want to go back to that 600i question, because Socially Confused suggested a variant for the 600i. It was a 666H, flying straight to hell. I thought, don't know what the H stands for, hell, or what it'd do, but I just like the name.
Fortunately, all the variants have ended in 5.
Yeah.
So it would be a 6665.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do a special one-off just because it's the 600 and it is the 666I or H.
666H. Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight to hell.
Yep.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I know you're nitpicking, but
Slightly
it's important to clarify because you might not be
Yep.
the only person, Marty, that has that issue. So it is, you know, and sometimes people don't hear exactly what we say. So I'm not going off at you or anything. I'm just like you're completely justified in nitpicking, and I'm just clarifying.
And we just want to clarify and make sure what we're saying is we're clear.
Loud and clear. Yeah, that's it.
All
right, next.
So slightly confused. When are they going to work on the other hangars? When they want to?
I don't think it's a real priority. We've got hangars in game that work. Right. It's just really a visual difference. It's probably going to be a lot more in line when they come back to do a lot of the central zoning stuff. You know, they're probably going to want to work on it before they roll out more past the 5 planets. I'd say these 5 systems. Those 5 planet systems are really a test bed to make sure all the tech is working and all that stuff before they go, right, let's roll it out to 100 systems. I'd say it's somewhere between there, between 5 to 100. Like when they start rolling out more systems after the 5, I'd say it's there. You'd have them in before they finish those 5.
Now, sadly, we're in our second last. That was our second last question. But I also know that the bot has died.
I closed the bot because it was.
Oh, there you go.
It was after 3 hours.
All right, so we'll take this long, and there's a question in YouTube chat that I think we'll grab as well. Which is actually I'll do YouTube chat's question first because then they can disappear.
Paul's up for a show tomorrow.
Okay, awesome.
I think we'll be doing that one.
So DeJocko has a question from YouTube chat. Is it reasonable to expect the Pioneer owners to will get the Forge and the build as loaners when they come out? It's a reasonable thing to suggest. That's often what happens.
So what was the question? So Pioneer and something as loaners, what was that?
Pioneer owners get the Forge and a build as loaners when they come out. So
absolutely.
Forge, because it does the same thing, build does a similar thing. I could see that.
No brainer.
No-brainer.
Just like the Kraken owners will probably get an Ironclad as a loaner.
Yep.
They're currently getting a Caterpillar. Why wouldn't they upgrade that? And that, by the way, that's not even, you know, like a third of the cost.
They usually go to the ship that is closest to what it does. That's also in line with the price it can do so.
Just for Damon's benefit on Twitch chat, the Forge is a ship that was mentioned being worked on that's now been paused by Consolidated Outland, and it's meant to be a refinery, ground extraction and fabricator by Sinu. It's the one that we most likely saw in this image. Give me a second. I do have it. I've just go into my thing and find it. What was it listed under? It was silhouette images. Hang on. I gotta find it. It is this one. It is an Algared. Yep. And if I bring everyone across, this one. So this would most likely be the Forge. If not indefinitely, really, because they did talk about it at length. So I'd say. So yeah, that's going to be known as the Forge, and ground extraction, refining, and fabrication. No problemo. Right, Algared. Next question.
Last question is from Heralex782. This is again from YouTube. This is the question I first thought I'd take for us, and that is, would the Crucible get shipbuilding capability, not just repair an existing ship?
What ship was that?
With the Crucible,
yeah.
You know, the other ship of our cult. Would it get the ability to build ships?
I think it may.
Just repair.
I think it may.
I think it may. I'd go down that. I'd go down that line
because a lot has been taken from repair now because base building and shipbuilding has become a thing. So I think in a weird way, if you kind of weirdly look at it, yes, the Crucible would do a better job of it than the Galaxy would. But if you've already got a ship that does kind of base building in the build, and therefore the galaxy was meant to be the other side of that coin. They are both in the same size. That also pushes the Crucible up to be the capital of repair.
And we also know it was the capital of repair, which means you give it the best, you give it everything that in that line.
But, but technically, it does not have capital components currently. But that seems to be the logical conclusion, that the Crucible is going to be pushed up to a capital, and that would mean that the galaxy would take its current spot. And but obviously also the galaxy being an internalized ship can't do as good a job as the Crucible can. So that also means I think it makes logical sense that the Crucible goes above it.
And if you look at what we've got in game at the moment, you'll remember the old Xeno threat, with the Javelin docked in the repairs in the dock, the shipyard. That is like the super station shipyard. I could see a capital Crucible of the capital ship being kind of similar. It's kind of a shipyardy type docking point for ship into and get repaired. And when the Scarab is off, you basically have that arrangement anyway. So, I could see it going being a proper capital. I could see it having those abilities, and so being able to build ships or smaller ships. To me, it seems a no-brainer. Will that be the case? That's up to COG, but it seems logical to us.
All right.
And our very last question is from Blussmith, and Blussmith said, could you see the 4.7 by the 17th of March?
Yes.
Like St. Pat's Day.
Yeah, we basically said as much, didn't we?
And that was our last question.
All right. I've been looking here to raid here, and there's not too many people there that I know, but we're going to raid Cobra TV on Twitch. We haven't raided him in a while, and the only other choice I really had there was Loken, and Loken's sitting there with almost 300 people, so I don't think he needs a raid.
No, he doesn't want to raid.
He's doing too good. He doesn't need our help. Hey, bring him down a peg. No.
Pick a noob. That's my suggestion. Pick a noob.
Pick a noob. Well, I don't know any of them. That's the problem. I sit there and I don't know. That's what I always do. I was going to raid Cobra because I know him. Let's go have a look. Well, there's a lot of them just replaying videos. I'm not a big fan.
So I'm doing gameplay. Who's a noob? Very few people who do gameplay because they always need it.
Okay, well, is any there that stick out to you? I can't really.
Who's got the least views?
I like this guy's icon, but he doesn't speak English. They got to speak English for one. That's German. And why do all the cool people with icons have
What was that one down the bottom? Back to the grind. Back to the grind in Star Citizen.
Phones 98. Player Obscure Expedition 42. Yeah, okay, we'll go then. Why not? Something new and different.
Some person who's grinding the game away, whatever they're doing.
Phones 98. We're gonna run them. I'll have to ask them about the username. I don't know why they're called Phones 98, but they are currently playing Star Citizen. They are new player, looking for new players. Yeah, go in there and pretend to be new players, guys. Smash them with questions. We'll be watching along. Make sure you hit the follow button. We'd like to see their bot break.
How do I get my ship? How do I get my ship out?
How do I go? Not a whole bunch of people rock up and just go, how do I fix my ship? It'll be funny. All right, I'll switch this over.
Yep.
And I didn't cue the raid up. We'll be listening in though, so make sure you guys make their follow, and we'll see how they go. All right then. Twitch say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube say goodbye to Twitch, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Bye, Twitch.
And they're gone. All right, let's have a listen in.
We have 34 right now. We should have total.
How many favors do we need?
30. You need 30 favors.
Thanks for the raid, Inforunners.
Info.
Inforunners.
I have enough. I have a ton of script down below.
How much?
Like 500.
I think this guy's just playing a game and having to be streaming at the same time. He seems to have no interest at all.
Oh, you said favors. I thought you said scripts.
Favors, yeah.
Hmm.
No. Need favors, 30 favors. I think it's like 1,500 script. I think.
It does look like that, doesn't it?
Okay.
Fine, don't come in the elevator with me. I see how it is.
Yeah. So this is the danger you have with rating randoms. Oh yeah.
Yep.
I need to
Hey.
I need to explore them ahead of time. Oh yeah.
You do. But hey, look, people who are playing the game and streaming, it doesn't hurt to just raid them and give them a boost.
He was talking. I couldn't hear that because it's all good. Right. With that, then we will move along. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you everyone that went the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video. I don't know what's going to be happening next week in regards to stream because I will be leaving more than likely unless something untoward happens like it did last time and I had to cancel my trip. Let's hope that doesn't happen again, but knowing my luck, it will. But yeah, so I'll have a talk to Paul obviously tomorrow with Algared and see what's going on ahead there. But worst comes to worst, there'll be you'll miss 2 streams and then we'll be back. But there are pre-recorded episodes for you guys.
We'll chuck something out there. So
yeah. With that, then he's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we are out of here. Take care.
Dear citizens.